Hello, I'm Eagle, Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. And this is fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 358. Hopefully, you guys have had an amazing Sunday. I've got a great guest with us tonight, Gus Groves. How you doing? You want to tell everybody how you're doing
Up?
and where they can find you, sir?
What's up, guys? I'm doing fucking unbelievable right now. I got, everything I need in front of me. We're all set. I'm talking with the Eagle. You can find me on Instagram at Gus underscore Grows. And yeah, as easy as it gets.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time out to hang out tonight. That's for sure. And, and the opportunity to get to know you. So I appreciate that, sir.
And I appreciate that. Me being able to be here, man, big time. I've been here the past, like, let's see, your live works with my schedule. It works with it 100%. So I've been able to like watch and learn how the chat goes and see who's in the chat. What's up, everybody in the chat? You guys are awesome. But so I've got to see how it kind of runs, and I'm really glad to be here. It's pretty cool. I don't have many people in the community that are, I'm kind of a solo dolo caveman kind of guy, where I've been led to. So, I'm glad to be here.
Well, I think that you fit in just fine. I think you fit in just fine. I think that's honestly the common bond of the grower is, to be honest with you, is that we're all somewhat of an introvert, or I always say we're somewhat of a misfit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, we like to kind of hang to ourselves. Our gardens are fucking our favorite place to be.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for this, like for me, it started with hanging out in like subcool chats, the weed nerd same type of thing, and that's what it was. Back then it was a lot more faceless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we didn't have this opportunity to kind of come out and meet one another. But
Well,
that
dude,
was it for us because we could like hang out in these chats and have be faceless and be able to yet reach out and talk to people. You know what I mean about what we were passionate, and I think that's what made started this whole thing.
I wish I had the opportunity to go back and just learn a little bit more about these chats and stuff like that, because I came from the streets of this side of things. I'm like 10 minutes of Detroit, and I've been through a lot of rough shit going through. I've always been a fan of cannabis. When I got kicked out and I lived on the streets, I went to people who were involved with cannabis, but I didn't have a cell phone until shit. I was like 18, 19 years old. I used to hustle a lot. I'd be the guy that was calling people from the doctors like, hey man, come pick me up, I got you. And then I'd trade them. I'd be like, hey man, you got an ounce of some good stuff? And they're like, oh yeah. There's this one time, these kind of people, they didn't really know anything about the weed at all that they had. It was just always, for some reason, it was always good. And this one time I got this stuff, and he's like, man, it's really strong. It's the strongest shit ever. It's a little wet still. And I was like, man, fuck, why you got to give me wet shit, And I smoked it with my buddy, who's gone now, rest in peace. But fucking, we were like, we smoked half of it. We went to sleep, woke back up, smoked the rest of it, went to sleep. I mean, and we passed out for hours, and I've never been able to do that. I thought it was awesome. So we went on this search. We, and I couldn't really, at the time I was like I was homeless, and I basically had a bicycle. I never really had a car until I was like 23, so And I live that way because I'm from around Detroit. I have a bus. I don't really need to jeopardize my life because I like to get fucked up in a car. One, two, that was just the view. I was like, I don't want to get fucked up. I don't want to get caught with what I do, So I never had a car until I became legit. And I said, I'm done hustling. I'm done doing this and that, And me and my buddy Ryan, after smoking that, we were like, dude, we got to start growing this shit. This is awesome, and we so we found some seeds in a stash, and we had 143 seeds, and we just popped them up all over his backyard, and pretty soon his backyard was like this high in weed. And this is right off Telegraph. If you know where Telegraph, like you could see his backyard from Telegraph, and it's all fucking weed. Well, his grandma came home and fucking sprayed it all with weed killer. I come over one day. He's drinking in the driveway waiting for me, and I'm like, dude, what's up? You don't look so good. He's like, and he just opened the gate, and he's like, dragged his head, and we walked back there, and I just was like, oh no, like, why did they do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was bad, because we were having a good time. I mean, it was just for us. We were just having fun, and we don't know nobody to fucking put it off to or nothing like that. So I mean, that was really fun. Yeah, I came from pretty much like the gutterest of gutter with weed growing. I mean, I had nobody to look up to. I didn't really have the internet because I got kicked out of my house when I was 16. So I didn't really have the internet. And a lot of the people around me looked at me like I was some kind of bum, you know what I'm saying? Even though really I respected people's fucking especially my friends. I respected them to the fullest, because I needed that in return because I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand how these people worked, and it gave me a grudge against like basically everybody I fucking was around in my town. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really like anybody I was around. So I went to like Detroit, you know what I'm saying? And I found some people, ended up just living some shitty ways because I had no other option, really. Nobody, the people, my peer group, they'd be like, hey man, you need a blanket? It wasn't like, hey man, you need somewhere to sleep? I got you. It was like, you need a blanket. The one person that did give me, and I'm not trying to make this a sap story or anything. I'm just telling you guys where I came from with the cannabis. Okay. Now, when I was about 17, somebody took me in. At this time, I was on drugs. I don't want to get into all that, but I've been on everything. You know what I'm saying? I was a garbage junkie, literally. I'm 29 now. That was like 11 years ago. So a lot of mental developmental changes have been made on how I do things, since then. But anyway, somebody seen me and they're like, dude, you don't look so good. And I was like, yeah, I live in that park over there. What? So what? And he's like, dude, you got to come over, come stay with me. Yada, yada. I stayed with him. His dad was really good at growing, and he was all about, organic. I never seen him use bottled anything, and he only let certain people in the room. He had a key, and he let me in, and he was like, he showed me everything and this and that. And I always wanted a greenhouse when I was a kid. I was like, Ma, I want a greenhouse, like for venomous plants and shit like that. Or not venomous, carnivorous plants, shit like that, weird shit. And so I was like really interested. He could tell I was interested. So he showed me some shit. And he was getting me a job at Chrysler. And he was like, you got to pass a piss test, yada, yada. All my buddies, I've always helped people pass piss tests. That was one of my things, is like, I would go get them the fake piss. I'd be the guy to, help people pass their drug test. Seriously. So I was just like, fuck it, whatever. And he was always like, hey man, you have access to my roach tray. If you ever see anything in the roach tray and you're out of smoke, go ahead. It don't bother me. Well, there's this California orange kush that was just amazing. Okay. And I smoked the roach of it, and he got really pissed at me, and he kicked me out. He was like, I fucking told you I'm getting you this job, yada yada. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't realize, I've never been given this opportunity. I've never been in this position. Okay. Like, I figured I'd do my normal thing and just do the drug test, man. I didn't mean to step on your toes. I'm sorry, but he was still pissed. He didn't take the apology well. And, I went on my way, and, from there, I went back to the streets, and, I ended up living with this pimp, and, dog, fucking terrible place, man. I lived in a shitty place for a while, just a little bit, to get back to, like, because that's where I got drugs from, was around that area. So, I got connected back with that guy, lived with him for a little bit, and he showed me some shit actually that today I call Jadam, which is basically like using he had a 5-gallon barrel of catfish and some other shit that was fucked up in a barrel, and he was like, yo, dig this, and you're gonna use that as the fertilizer for 3 feet underneath. I was like, why are you putting it so deep? And I didn't, to this day I still don't get it, but his plants had fucking, like, they were like that, dude. They were huge, just like fucking from the bottom up, just like poof. And he used catfish and fucking other parts of animals and shit. So that was crazy to me. And I was like, I want to learn what that motherfucker does. This guy was respectful as shit. He was a cool motherfucker. I have nothing against him as a person, and he knows that. This dude that fucking actually that was into weed too, was gonna rob him, and I was like, fuck no, you're not. Like, I had to stop that from happening. So, but he's respectful. He helped me out. He got me off the streets in a way. He didn't keep me on drugs at all. So I figured this guy probably seen value in the way that I appreciate things. So, I went on with it. After that, I left there because just, situations happen when you're living with fucking whores and drug addicts and shit, so I had to get the fuck out of there. And basically I went out to I did some traveling. I looked online for free, basically I was like, travel jobs, free, what did I look up? My buddy told me. I used to do a bunch of shit. There's just so much shit that you're missing, but I'm trying to get to the cannabis part, and what I appreciate about cannabis, and, where I got my glorification from, because it's all from gutter ass views. A lot of people don't really, I didn't have the internet, and I'm so glad to be here today, really, because, and I get to look at everything that you guys talk about, and I get to research now. But basically I went out to California and Texas and Arizona and shit. I got to check out different herbs, and I've always been into weed and shit. The buddy I went out there who got me the position was like, shit, one time I had nowhere to put these weed plants, and this was like before I ever did anything. And I gave them to him. I mean, this is a funny story. So I walked from, it was probably 1.5 miles away. This town is called North Trenton, to where I live, with 7 weed plants that were seedlings that sprouted, right? Because I was like, oh, they're regular seeds. And I kind of knew what to do, So I walked from fucking North Trenton to my mom's house, and with a buddy who literally has been through every mystical journey with me. And it's really weird. We have this really weird connection, you know. But I was walking with him, and I see a cop by this field where I have to pass to get to my mom's house. And I was just going there to do some random shit. I was actually there to meet my buddy who I met in California later in life. I was meeting him to take care of these plants. I was like, dude, you got to fucking take care of these plants for me because, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I was going to meet him. I run into a cop. There's a fucking cop, Officer Diebold, you know, and I see him and I look at my buddy Nick and I'm like, hey, dude, don't say a fucking word. I got this. Okay. Like straight up. I passed dare. I'm good. So I tell the cop, I'm like, hey, man, it's just tomato plants. He asked, well, it wasn't just like that. He comes out of his car and he's like, what are you guys doing? What do you got there? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm just coming from my Magna's house. This is some tomato seedlings from her house. And he's like, he looked at him. He said, oh, all right. Have a good day, Jace. and he walked off, you know? And I knew from that point, I was like, okay, the cops don't care around here about this shit, you know? But anyway, back to California. I left the trap. I go to Cali. I run into some wax, dude. All right. I've never seen wax ever. I mean, I'm from the gutter, bro. I'm from the gutter. Okay. Gutter people, some gutter people still to this day don't know what the fuck wax is. All right. Like, so I'm out in Cali and I'm selling magazines door to door. It's a fake business, yada, yada. I was doing some fucked up shit. I didn't really know, you know, quote unquote, I didn't know, you know. But anyway, it was fun. But the people that were running this business were also selling weed and like candles and teddy bears and shit like that. But they had wax. And so one day I'm going to pick up my check and I'm like, yo, can I switch my check out for some sour diesel? And I see in the background, and like, I'm in Irvine, California, right at this point in time. And I'm in a suite and it's like, this guy is like living luxurious, right? You know what I'm saying? He's got a 2-story hotel room. I'm like, what the fuck? So anyway, I see somebody lighting this torch up on this fucking pipe. And I'm like, yo, J man, what the fuck is that, bro? I was like, dude, if that's some meth, man, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to be caught up in this shit, you know? He started cracking up, dude. He starts laughing. And I'm like, what? He's like, dude, you got to come hit this now. And I'm like, okay, you know, he's like, it's hash oil. Like, it's hash oil. It's the oil from the plant. And I was like, what? You know, and I'm like, okay. So he gets me set up and he fucking lets me hit it. Whole new world, you know? It was a whole new world. And that's where I got my concentrate, where I mean, honestly, dude, even over rosin, people are gonna hate me on this, but I love BHO, butane honey oil, buddy. That's what I love. Even pressing, you know, I love BHO. I love doing it myself. I love taking time, 2 weeks of, 2-3 weeks. Sometimes it takes me to finish a run of my self-made shit, but I love it. You know, like, there's nothing better.
There's nothing wrong with that, my friend. There's nothing wrong with that. And just a little bit of side story. You know, I appreciate your story very much, man. And I know you've only been watching this show for a couple weeks, like you said, and it would take you forever to piece together what little bit I like to seep through. You know what I mean? But our backstory so far is very similar. Very similar. 16, happy birthday. I'm not your real dad. Get the fuck out. That's kind of where, how my journey started, except, maybe on the higher, tougher drug end side of things, maybe not so much tend to drink and smoke a lot of cannabis, but I definitely hustled cannabis from that day on. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Cannabis has been a part of my life ever since then.
yeah,
So no shame in your game. Yeah, I always tell when I tell my story too, man, that hustle I learned in life is the best college education, if you would, that I ever could, man. That hustle in life will get you through life. It'll get you through work.
love.
It's the backbone of a lot of fucking businesses, to be honest with you. So,
Honestly,
no, there ain't no shame here, brother. I appreciate your story so far. And a funny note about the wax, I was not necessarily a similar situation, but I remember seeing it for the first time, like kind of like that, kind of thinking, what in the fuck is that? I kind of bluffed my way through it as well. You ever smoked that? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I knew it was cannabis related, but I didn't know how strong it was. And
yeah,
fucking, I hit that shit. Except they were using the glass rod back then. They were heating up the glass rod and just touching the wax with it, or just
yeah.
barely touching it. And man, that shit, man, I hit that for the first time. My head felt like it was like 10 feet ahead of my body. I remember like sweating like crazy. Just like, yeah, that shit's good. Thinking of my shit. Just thinking to myself, holy shit. I've never fucking been this high off of weed. And it was different, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't mean to interrupt your
Oh
story. What are
no,
you
it's good.
smoking on, by the way? Right quick.
This
You
is
don't
some
mind me.
LA Confidential. I picked. You know what? I ran out. My buddy, shout out Under the Canopy 420. He gifted me some. He just like always hands me fucking weed here and there, and it's great. But he gave me some lemon OG Kush or lemon garlic OG. But this is some Confidential that I had to pick up from the store, man, and it's pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you know, I mean, I enjoy it. I love LA Confidential. Honestly, the whole reason I got it is because it's not one I always see on the menu or anywhere anymore. A lot of people used to grow it back in like 2000 fucking 11, 2010, and for sure, yeah. And I think that's where I got my fucking love for it. And then I had the LA cheese. The LA cheese. Oh man, that shit was good, because sometimes Confidential will have you know, a cheesy ring to it. But yeah, I had to get the LA, man. What are you smoking on?
I am smoking of some Godiva from, hopefully the American one is in chat, but he was the breeder of this strain,
Ooh,
and I'm digging it, man. This was my first sample of it. And I'm really really enjoying it.
that's cool. I
Uh,
love chocolatey stuff, man.
so what the hell? I was gonna say so. Oh, I was gonna say, man, that sucks. Though it always sucks when you have to purchase it from, especially one of the stores or clubs or whatever, man. It's once you start growing, actually having to buy it becomes such a fucking painful experience.
Yeah. So all that, basically led me to here. I didn't really have an internet experience like a lot of people have. You know what I mean? So I got on the YouTube. I seen you on here and Instagram and stuff, and I'm still, dude. I have a lot of PTSD, anxiety, and bipolar and shit. Dude, yeah. So I don't try to get into stuff too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I fall into the rabbit hole, not the wormhole, if I fall into the rabbit hole, I get a little too deep, man. That stuff. I'm a very deep thinker. So I get a little too creative with my thoughts. And then so I really haven't experienced like networking, through the internet or anything like that too much. Right now, since my screen is up right here, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you guys are looking at. It's kind of like a diamond shape, right? If you look, well, at the top of the diamond, basically you're looking at, it's a slurricane female. And then to the right of that, coming down, is Mac. And then there's Sativa that I'm not going to really display the name of because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And then coming down the diamond, the one in the middle is the male. Okay. I'm doing a little project here. And I've heard people's views on breeding or whatever. I'm not doing this for any kind of monetary fucking anything. I'm doing this because I fucking love Gorilla Glue and I love some of the shit that you see in here. You know what I mean? And anyway, so you see that other weird big leaf, that's a tobacco plant. And that's got a cherry Garcia, which is chunky, really chunky and small, but really big. It's the biggest one in there when it comes to bud structure. And then another cherry, and then another glue sniffer in the corner. Oh wait, this corner. Dude, I'm trying to look at the camera. I'm trying to look at the camera. It wasn't working out. But anyway, yeah, see, this shit's going out, man. I had like 3 blunts rolled the other day. I was gonna save one for today because what I've been doing is taking bits of that tobacco leaf and rolling it up, with weed and making it into blunts. And I think it's amazing. Like a lot of people spend shit ton of money on fucking pre-rolled shit, and it's ridiculous. Like, come on, man. You can grow your own, you can roll your own. It's a lot cheaper and a lot better. And a bunch of shit in it, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm gonna do it yourself or at anything. If I can fucking do it myself, I give it a go. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If I even think I can do it, I have to fuck it up one time and then actually maybe even twice.
Yep.
and then maybe put my head down and then take it to somebody else if I can't do it. But I'm gonna fuck it up twice before.
Have you fucked up? Have you fucked up yet with aeroponics or hydroponics at that?
No, to be honest with you, I have yet to really go down either road. I mean, I guess slightly is a fair answer, just because I use aquaponics or a DWC type cloner, the Oxy cloner, which is like a DWC. It's got bubbling from the bottom.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say I was growing hydroponically in there because the first time they're pulling roots, I'm jerking them out. I'm just getting them started in there, I guess.
Right.
No, I haven't.
Now, do you find using DWC or aeroponic clone, starter better than using root plugs?
Good question. That's seriously a tough question, to be honest with you. I find that they root a little bit quicker, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind, that's the way I used to do, and that's my, my fail to, I mean, if it's too hot during the summer months to use these cloners, that's what I revert back to, is the root right cube flips upside down, pre-soaked with a little bit of Clone-X, and, they always throw big, fat, thicker roots, you know what I mean? That's the difference. In the clone, when the cubes, they thicker, shorter, fat, they already, hairier roots.
Yeah, they
You know
got
what I mean?
structure. They got structure in the cube, you know?
Yeah, yeah. My oxycloner, they're always long and linky. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily all fish bony. They're all stretchy. So.
Yeah. Now, when I take cuts, I actually make my own, I call it super cloner, you know? I take some fucking aloe. I go to the store, I buy a leaf of aloe, I scrape it out. And then, well, actually, I've had this mix for about 6 months now. I've always done the aloe thing though, like ever since I ever took my first cut. I, I just basically fuck the aloe with the cut. You know, I cut it open, squeeze it a little bit. Sometimes I'll scrape the pulp and make it nice and juicy, and I'll just, and then I'll jam it in there. But now I use this super clone juice, which is basically aloe pulp and Cyto Plus from I want to say it's BioAg or something like that. I have it in the other room, but excuse me, I'm fucking drinking this stuff. It's amazing, by the way. It's in Michigan, so I have to fucking, show it off. It's got some cool art,
Nice, nice.
You guys at a bus
Is
stop.
it just a pop? Is it just a pop, or is it like an edible drink?
It's actually alcoholic. Are you not into that? I'm sorry.
No, I don't drink, but I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't. Those who do that, I don't give two shit if anybody
Well,
likes
do
it.
you like Journey, or whoever made that song, "Don't Stop Believing"?
Yeah.
It's called "Donut Stop Believing." I don't know.
Shit, I had this one cat on here, smoking with Small Town, and he was pretty much doing like the strikeouts, basically, uh, on this show. I couldn't believe how many that cat did, and still was able to function.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, he held it. He held his liquor and his cannabis pro. I mean, we did like a 3 hour episode. You couldn't tell he was drinking at the end of it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
seriously, man, he was taking. He would fucking. How did he do this? He would take a fucking rip off his fucking bong, fucking shotgun a beer, and fucking take with what breath he had, take a fucking dab, and then maybe there was a shot after it. Even, I mean, it was impressive what he had going there. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, another one.
Sometimes
All
it be like
right,
that,
man.
man. When my girlfriend lets me, I'll get fucked up as possible. So I get it. Yeah. I just happened actually. I just finished this right before I got on because I was like, well, I better drink before I get on. I don't know.
Whatever
So
greases the wheel, buddy. That's the way I see it.
I haven't ever been on an online chat before. Period. Shout out to the girls I met online, but that was a long time ago. Whoopsie. Yikes. So I've always stayed away from that shit. You know what I mean? Just because the only thing that got me in trouble, on a phone was girls on on a phone. So I never really fucked with a phone until I was 20. I swear to God, about 24 years old is when I really started using. I got a car, a license and stuff, and a phone that I use normally, not as a fucking hustling phone. I quit hustling. 100%. So now I'm like 100% no more hustling, but like all my friends, I've lost like most of my friends through that lifestyle, and like mortally they died, and the fucking some of it was just it's whatever shit happens. Fucked me up a little bit because I had to be there for one of them and I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? So I have like I have PTSD, and I'm trying to find that fucking Gorilla Glue cross, man. And people are gonna hate me for it, but I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it for me. And and I've heard you say that's what matters, so I think that's what matters, man. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you. Like, if people ask me, I'm gonna tell them, yeah, man, you can have some seeds, but I'm not gonna sell you anything. I'm not gonna sell a fucking thing. I won't sell weed anymore. I won't sell anything, man. Mushrooms or nothing. You want something? Let's trade. Fucking let's. You know, I need some panda film. What do you? What you need? I need some panda film. I don't want no money. I'm sick of it. Everybody's all about the money, and it's sad to see where society has been. Fucking coming from money and not realizing what the problem is, and everybody's all about it. So I'll sit back and watch everybody chase it until they realize when they're older it don't fucking matter. It's about laughing and having a good time and things you can remember that you don't forget. Those stories that you hear from older folks, that they tell over and over, that's the shit that fucking matters. Because that's something that they remember. That's something everybody that hears them, they're going to remember. The people that he grew up with remembered. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's not the money. You don't die with money, you die with that story. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of
shout out to you for sticking with a fucking down brother, down friend, man. For real.
yeah, dude, it was tough. I did everything I could, everything I could. And I never got persecuted for it. Everybody knows the situation. You know what I mean?
Well, it's one of those things, man. I'm telling you, I'm giving you deep respect for that shit because everybody says they're down. You know what I mean? Everybody says they're down. But when it comes to like this in particular instance, like an injury, they're down the week of the hospital. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry this happened to you. Then it becomes like awkward. Nobody wants to, everybody treats you weird after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people come around a fuck a lot less and they don't know,
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're not down after that first week. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
to be there for somebody after, the fact and stick with them through the very hard times, that shows me that there's a good person across the other side of the screen because most people run and look the other way. So
yeah, they do. A lot of people don't like to man, I don't want to talk about other people because I could go, it's just not cool to talk about other people. You ever watch that Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't guy? Shout out to Crime Pays, Botany Doesn't. Okay, the way that guy talks and expresses things on his channel, man. He was at this fucking grocery store in Berkeley, California. Okay, and it's like Whole Foods, and he's like, "Oh, this place is the best. They got this shit. It'll make you puke." He's like, "I don't really need this. I just take a look around me in society, and I get sick." So I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I get it." So like, I don't want to talk about other people, man. Like, I'm into like I put a little bit of here. I put some stuff on a shelf over here. I don't know if you can see this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? I got some C90, right? I got some of this. This is some alfalfa, fermented plant juice. You know what I mean? It kind of smells like wine a little bit, but I don't know. It kind of does its job to me. The best thing that I've ever seen was alfalfa and corn sprout tea. The most instant and biggest results I've ever seen was that. So anything alfalfa and corn, I'm down about, for real. There's that. I got this photosynthesis plus. This shit helps. You know, some microbes. This right here, OHN. Take the time, make it. It's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? This stuff's awesome. This is used for like vitality, and it's like against bugs and shit like that, you know? But the second I use it, it kind of like coats the plant, you know? This is fish amino acids, you know? You can make this. I want to open it up and show you maybe with the phone later, but it's a little KNF, you know, KNF shit I fucked with. I fucked with some Jadam too. At the same time I made this, which was last year, January 8th of last year. I made this, and every time I use it, man, my plants, the stems and the leaves get really nice and thick and green. It's fucking great. Oh, speaking of mycelium, everybody likes that stuff. Let's see how these are doing. This is B plus, and I only used, and it's grown with rye berries, right? And soil. It's going to be one of those super mixes, and I just opened the bag. I just use these to hang, you know. But look at this B plus. It looks like a fucking spore print when it first makes its big, huge thing. When it first colonizes, it's crazy. It's so cool. Like the fractal roots hyphae that go through it and just keep on making these snowflakes and shit. It's fucking rad, dude. I've always been doing this. Even if I'm not growing tubs, I'll fucking make bags because I love mycelium, and I love what it does to the grow room. Whoops, hold on one second. But yeah, I actually have a way to grow. Now, everybody is really going to hate me for this. Really. But there's, everybody's like, you know, I've never heard of anybody saying they're successfully grown cubensis with cannabis. And I just really think that's crazy. Because I've done it a few times. The times that I've tried, I've had 2 fails, and I know why I failed. And I think here's some information right now I'm going to spit that's based on just, okay, so the only reason I think people fail is because they're just like inoculating their soil at random times. And I really think the key point is you have to use brown rice flour. One, you have to use brown rice flour cakes, okay? And when you do it, you have to use a jar. And when you get this jar out, you have to cut it in discs. Cut it with the lines. Try to measure these lines, you know, bam, bam, bam. Slice these discs up. Now, when you're going, when you're transplanting and you're about to go in flour, all right? Or if you transplant before that, anytime you transplant, okay, you can take these discs, okay, and place them near where you're transplanting, under, around, wherever. But you want to say this is the pot too, okay? Here's the plant, you know. You're gonna want to stay like where there's always moisture. So say where this water is, you know, say here's the dirt. You're always gonna want to stay like right about there when you inoculate. And you have to do it around transplant with BRF. Now after that, you're gonna want to lay either some kind of mulch layer or something. I used newspaper until I saw pins. And then when I saw pins, I put glass or plastic Tupperware and I misted them, kind of like a cloner. And I put them over those pins every day. I misted them. And if you guys want to see, if you'll screen share, I actually have a little clip that I can show you of like a little example, you know.
Yeah. You can screen share.
All right.
So when you mix the two, is it a matter of, making more sugars accessible because will the mycelium actually like choke out, what's available for the plant?
Well, what I think happens now, this is why I say, I'm not a scientist or nothing like that, bro, but let me tell you something. There's a connection. They communicate. The hyphae and the roots communicate. Only positive vibes, bro. Without that root structure, for some reason, it doesn't work. And when you use corn, it fails, it aborts, and it goes into trichoderma, okay? And which isn't bad. That's good. And I've had pretty good results that from my aborts too, because I'm using grain, one, that's huge, slow nitrogen, and then when it turns into trichoderma, it helps the plant really connect too, just like the mycelium does, but in a bacterial way. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. How do I do this? Are you seeing my screen?
No, you would basically you click screen share on the Zoom, and then whatever file that you want to bring up, you click on that and click share. There you go. Just play that.
Yeah, you can see that too.
Hey, you catch on quick, huh?
I guess. It's probably going to take a minute to load because we're online, huh? Smoke break.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Play.
Nah, YouTube even giving itself commercials. Gotta love that shit.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks.
So what are we looking at here, brother?
All right, so let me pause it. Well, actually, let me play it through. That's bokashi. Those granulars you're seeing are bokashi, actually. That's Chitwan, a strain called Chitwan. And that's Acapulco Gold in a fabric pot. So what you are seeing.
By the way, I love that Earl Nightingale video, Strangest Secret.
What's that?
At the end there, it showed a bunch of videos, and one of them was Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. That's
okay.
A great video if you'd never watched it.
Okay, cool. I don't know if I have actually. I watch so many things, Anyway, so what we're looking at are, it's called Chitwan. If you can see, it says Chitwan 2 there. It's a strain, of Cubensis, but I inoculated that little thing with a buddy. I asked him, I said, hey man, do you care if we can throw these in there? And we studied it, and then we read some Jeff Lowenfels. He showed me some shit because he's really good at studying and looking up stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, fucking go ahead, let's do it, you know? And we ran with it. And because I did a test with oysters and I just used newspaper to keep it moist. And so basically, up until that point, I just covered them with newspaper around the top layer of the soil, and I sprayed it every day. And they just, dude, they honestly, I think those Acapulco Golds had the best uh, structure out of all those. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, but anyway, you know, a lot of people are saying they fail with this, and I really think you have to do it when you transplant, and you know, do it sparingly a little bit. You know, like we did it in a few pots. That wasn't that one jar. I put 4 discs, and right where those discs, like I said, if you cut this into cakes, like I take a cake out of this, bam, I put that where I transplant about, say this is the pot too. I put it about, you know, from here to here, where it's going to always stay moist. And if you keep a layer on top where the moisture is, that hyphae will connect to the moisture. And that's what they want, because they want to get the food. They want to get the instant food. And then the food travels through the hyphae to the roots of the cannabis plant. Okay. And I know that's what happens because I see it. Without that, I think without that communication and that connection, without being that transplant, having open roots exposed, I don't think you're going to have really good success. Although it's happened one time. But really, I think it's because he's using a blue mat system, and dude, it stays perfect. So that's some more testing that I have to do, but I'm broke and poor, and I live in a fucking apartment. So I don't have the functionality to be able to do that shit right now. But I think there's a lot of work that I could be doing, that people can be doing, and I want to share this info. So I want people to know, if you're doing BRF, brown rice flour cakes, you have a very good key, a very good option here to be able to do this. And I'll do it. I'm going to do it soon. The thing is, like I said, man, I'm broke. I like to do everything myself. I have a pressure cooker. I have all that kind of stuff. I can do a sterilizing tub, pasteurization tub. I made one. I love it. I've been doing it for a few years, you know, and I've every time I've run it in pots, I do it when I fucking transplant, and it's great. It works. Yeah, man. Now another thing is I'm using super soil, basically super soil recipes here, or water only mixes. You know, back guano's cool. All that shit's cool. Worm castings, can't get enough of it.
So do you follow Cood? I hate to interrupt, Clackamas Cood?
I think I do, but dude, like I said, so many things, you know.
Well, I asked because, he actually runs, he's got his own Coots mix that a lot of people use. It's, I'm not even going to go into the recipe.
Okay.
I'm cocoa grower, reverting back into organics.
Oh, dude,
basically.
cocoa. I've had great results in cocoa, man. I grew some autos in cocoa that were fucking awesome, bro. Like you wouldn't be able to tell, like, that they were autos if I told you I vegged them for a month, you know.
But basically, he's trying to do what you're talking about right now. He's trying to mix, the mycelium, the mushrooms into the beds of his, his mix there, because he sees the beneficial of them cleaning and putting back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, he may, if that might be somebody you may want to check in with, and
I've reached out to a couple people, but I have a shitty way of reaching out. If you read our messages on Instagram, like, dude, I only get confidence to reach out when I drink. For some, I'm a fucking sorry guys, I'm a fuck up. Like I can't help it, like so like when I type messages, I feel like, oh, it's a good message, and I'll read back and it's a fucking stupid message. I'm like, damn it, dude. Like that guy don't want to listen to what I'm saying, So I'm like, wow, I'm glad you actually like let me reach out and stuff. But I really think people can benefit from what I'm saying about that. And this is indoors too. A lot of people are like, what? We had an ozone emitter, okay, that helped clean the room a little bit. Now, I know what everybody thinks about those. Those are bad for your health, bad for the plants, yada, yada. We wouldn't run it all the time. I would put it on low, yada, yada. It worked, okay? Now, if you're doing this outside.
So,
yeah.
Can I stop you real quick?
Because
it's kind of burning a little bit. It's just burning a little bit.
What's that?
Just a little bit. And I'm a very real person. I've heard you say you referred to yourself as a fuck up a couple times. And I'm sure that's your opinion. That's your opinion, my friend. But I'm going to tell you right now, what I see is a 29-year-old gentleman who's come from a rough path. You know what I mean? And good fucking helped out a friend, cannabis, good attitude. You even cut me off about talking about people, which I thought was amazing. And you have an awesome, optimistic outlook on life from what I can tell.
Thanks,
so my
man.
friend, I'm not seeing a fuck up on the other side of the screen. I just want to point that out, man. I do not in any way get that impression from you, my friend. So with that being said, let's roll.
Yeah, so I think people can benefit a lot from basically moisture on top around the stem, and wherever you laid down and inoculate, basically slap these discs in there. Wherever you slapped them in there, you want a moisture layer on top of that. Just hay, I don't think is going to work. That now in that video you see, it's just topsoil. You don't see hay, you don't see anything, and that's because I kept newspaper on top of there. So that's really key. We had an ozone emitter in the room that would basically help scrub the room. That helped. If you're not doing something like that and you're not really sterile in your environment, you will probably, I'm not going to say you're going to fail, but it helps, it helps to be scrubbing the hair.
No negative effects from the ozone. I've never run the ozone, but I've heard it's bad for like terps and stuff.
It's bad
for your terps.
Well, we didn't run it
as well, right?
It's bad for everybody. I've done a lot of research on that because I was feeling sick when I was running it a lot, and so I stopped running it so much because I don't leave too much, and I was using it. So, I basically put the ozone away because I don't really like it too much, and I think fresh air exchange, like if you get air from outside enough, you don't need it. So, like if you're getting some intake from outside, I don't think you really need it. And maybe that's the local bacteria. I don't know.
I'm just saying. I was just curious. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. Keep
rolling. No, you're good, dude. No, you're good. 100%, man. Yeah, we're chilling. Yeah, that stuff, ferments and stuff like that, I think are great. I think even if you're a cocoa grower, I used ferments in cocoa. I had great results, dude. Great results. I mean, if you want some of this stuff, I'm in Michigan, bro. I'm down to collab and like hook people up and show them some shit that I do and just like kick it and like, hey, I have like probably 2 gallons of this shit left. I barely use it. You know what I mean? Like how much I have to what I use. This is going to take me 3 years to finish. So like if people want some of this stuff to try, it's fish amino acids. I'll open it up and show you in a post. I think I've done it before, but it's like, I need to make a better one. I suck at making posts, guys. I fucking, you know, I'm like, I'm awful with posting. Sometimes I'll make some good posts. So be aware there is good content on my page on Instagram, guys. But really, I just want to get the information out there about the mushrooms. You know, the people, the breeding thing. Everybody's got. I've noticed a bad. What's this bandwidth?
Well, it probably is mine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so this like so you know, people putting people down for breeding their own stuff or making seeds in their own house, you know. I think if you're putting people down for doing it, you're just you're contributing to the problem around us that's going around in everybody's situation. I mean, it's not just with cannabis, you know, but that kind of attitude towards things aren't going to help anything, you know. If you're talking about preserving something and you know, if someone's going to preserve something, they're going to preserve it. I mean, they've been doing this for years, you know. That's why we get the lovely option to actually work with some of these things. And I think a lot of people are hating on people, you know, and I'm somebody who's sitting here and I'm breeding, and I'm saying I'm breeding because I selected 9 plants out of 51 to work with, and I chose them because one, TGA black cherry soda, all right, is a life changer. It helps somebody get off dope in my life before. It really did. It helped. If I didn't have that shit for him to smoke, he wouldn't have been able to quit doing the shit he was doing right at that time. And it got him to fucking lay low and chill, you know? So black cherry soda has been something I've been looking for. I even messaged Jill about it, and she said it's clone only. You know, I doubt you can get it, so I ain't trying to get it. But Ethos has that Cherry Garcia, and that's a black cherry soda cross, and it's great. It's not as good as the black cherry soda, but I'm working with that because I love Gorilla Glue, and Gorilla Glue works with me. So I selected a male and of glue sniffer, and basically I'm trying to hit the cherry with Gorilla Glue, so it kind of helps, you know, with the things I don't like about it. You know, even though it's the dankest, if you look right there, it's the one with the tobacco plant. It's the shortest one by the fan. It's got the chunkiest nug. That's the Cherry Garcia, the Cherry Cross. In a few months, in a couple months, it'll be nice. I'm gonna really push them, you know, to the finish.
They all look nice and healthy.
Thank you. Ooh, peanut butter breath. Oh, I just seen that. Oh yeah, I love peanut butter breath. That stuff's good. That's a do-si-do, right?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I just kind of concentrate on what I am growing.
What are you growing right now, man?
Whole mess of shit.
I seen a cake.
Of shit.
Cake earlier or something like that.
That was the smash cake from Med Grower 1. That is the wedding cake times the primal punch. I ran that as a tester for him. Also running the GMO times the primal punch with which is the garlic punch by him. I always fucking fuck up them names. I've been terrible about names and genetics lately. I don't know what it is. I'm running
Yeah.
also running the Orange Boss from North Star Genetics, the Godiva from American One. I'm just finishing up a run of the Velvet Punch from Jack Greenstock, the Manja Delight from Candy Queen Genetics. I'm running Fort Jefferson as well. I'm also running the Biscotti times the Primal Punch, the 6 shooter from Empire Breeding Co., the Gorilla version 2 from Empire Breeding Co., the 6 shooter from Empire Breeding Co. I am also running the Xmas strain, the Blue Mile
Ooh,
from Bingus, and I know I'm probably forgetting about another 4 strains.
the Christmas
Oh,
strain, is that the Christmas like eight, what is it, 87 bud or something like that?
that's what I'm told. I'm
Cool.
guy that watched the show was nice enough to because I like that really heavy pine terps. That's what
Yeah.
I'm kind of really looking for right now.
Old
It was
school
like I
Kush.
got you, and there they were. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping for. They look really amazing right now. So
Awesome. My brother's my brother is growing some Santa cookies, which is Christmas bud crossed with cookies. So it's doing pretty well. Uh,
oh,
wants
I did.
wants to be a bush, that's for sure.
I almost forgot. I'm sorry to rudely interrupt. Detroit River Red almost he reminded him. I forgot. There's Tiger King. The Tiger King is in the garden as well. And I'm actually super excited about the Tiger King. White Feather Grows, which is a cat in Oklahoma, sent me that one. And I'm also running, as far as that goes, the TK Northern Lights Cross from
Ooh,
Brandon Ross. But the Tiger King, I'm actually more excited about the Tiger King strain. I don't. I'm not even sure what the genetics are. I
that's
know
awesome.
it's a local cross
That's
from his town, and Tiger King lived in that town where White Feather's from. Like he said, like a mile and a half from his house, the Tiger King lived. So
it's funny. They probably
I couldn't
smoked on that shit, huh?
resist.
They probably smoked on some of that shit.
I hope so.
Tiger King was high on that shit. Hell
It
yeah.
was definitely high on something, that's for sure. Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Oh man.
Um,
Wait a minute. Black cherry soda hemp CBD. That's nice. That's cool. So yeah, man. I have plans on doing some aquaponics and stuff like that, and I have them written up, but not where I'm living. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully in the future, you guys get to see some dual root zone aquaponics from me.
So do you think it's a far stretch? I mean, just popping it off in my head right now. I with you using like a fish amino, base to dam now, I can't really see, the structure of the water. You know what I mean? The nutrient setup being much different.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't use half the things that I use if I went to aquaponics. And I would focus more on a nice little microclimate in the dual root zone because that's what. See, I want to use the feeder roots up at the top of the top layer of the soil, to really work the plant, and then the bottom is just really kind of like a substrate for the roots to actually have something to be clean and some oxygen, water running through them, and maybe some minerals and obviously the fish waste, but um, yeah, I think it'll be a good thing. And the whole thing is I'm about sustainability to its most because I'm kind of like broke. So I gotta be as, efficient as possible, and I really see aquaponics being really efficient. Um, yeah, I'm probably within a year, I'm probably going to be doing, we're going to be moving and, we're going to be doing a lot of changes. You know,
There's
hopefully
a cat
what's up? No, go
on
ahead.
there's a cat on Instagram. He's actually a past guest, Double Tap Farms, who does a lot of aquaponic, home like aquaponics. Basically, he's feeding the fish tank water to his plants and shit like that. And I believe he actually does have some plants sitting above two of his tanks there.
What's his name?
Double Tap Farms.
Double Tap Farms.
You can also find him. He's like I said, he's a past guest. He's in that episode. He talks about it as well. But good guy, great grower. He's actually working on some breeding too. So you may be able to, swap DMs on both
That's
subject matters. You know what I mean? Good guy.
that's cool. Cool. I'll hit him up for sure. Yeah, I definitely want to network and meet more people that are like down to earth and not about money. Totally. I don't want anything to do with money. I don't. I'm trying to do this as legal and cool. Not legal, but just like, I don't want to have to I hate money so bad. It ruins all of our lives. And I think someone like me, maybe just wanting to trade and do the right thing. What do you need? I might have what you need. You know what I mean? Hit me up, something like that. Not, I don't want to have to fuck with money anymore, And same with the seeds, man. Like, I'm probably gonna make a shit ton of seeds. If people want them, by all means, hit me up. You want them? You can fucking have them. I'm not paying for shipping. That's that's all I gotta say about that. I'd rather meet local people, smoke one with them, get to know their garden, you know, stuff like that. Barbecue. I'd love to get down and barbecue, like make a community based off of trading. That's what I'm into. Like, just whatever you got for trade. It ain't even about who's got the most money at that point. It's about commuting with each other and talking about what's going on in your grows, and what's going on in your life. And I think people need more of that in their life than they do worrying about how much they can sell their seeds for. It's fucking ridiculous now. It's a whole nother reason why I'm not doing this no more. I can't, even though I catch myself looking for more seeds every other day. I'm always looking for more. I don't want to buy them though, because I'm like, damn it, it's, I like, man, yeah.
I'm right there with you on that attitude. The cannabis. I think you'll find the deeper you dig into the cannabis community, this community in particular, that's what it's about, man. You get to some of these events, and you might pay that ticket to, you know what I mean, the event holder. You know what I mean? There's the cash. But once you get through that pearly gate, if you will, the community, the folks walking around, man, they have the same fucking attitude you have, I have. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Well, that's the problem. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's the problem right there, Eagle, is that the people running it, they want their money back. They don't think we're worth their investment. Fuck them. That's how I feel. That's why I don't want to fuck with nobody. I want to make my own events, my own barbecues where me and my girlfriend and my fucking community, my people put up the money and don't give a fuck. I don't want no return. I don't want no goddamn
Dude,
return.
there's a lot of those events out there, man.
Really?
They're becoming more public, man. Let's see here.
Sick.
For one, there's fucking well, cloud cultivation is a good one in Flint area there. Buddy puts on twice a year 2 local cups, and he puts it's completely free. Band, good time. We went both of them last year. Didn't cost nobody a fucking cent.
Yeah.
We fucking 2 days, both event, 2 days, awesome time. I was there both days. There's several growers that throw barbecues just like you're talking about, where our breeder growers, hang out and fucking swap cuts and shit like that. There's events up here in northern Michigan where there's camping. There's one up at the Bigfoot Lodge. They have 2 events twice a year. It's a event and campground. Fucking the campground to get in, $25 for the campground.
Let's go,
That's it.
dude. Let's
I mean,
go.
you fucking $25 is
That's
the
sick.
campground, and that's pretty much you can pull right into that's your park. No charge for parking.
Now, is that
$25 I
overnight?
get to spend.
Is that overnight?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Drive right in your parking spot, set up your tent, fucking throw down some firewood, go walk around the event, meet some cats, go, hey, you want to come back to my fire pit and burn down? 2-day event, twice a year up there.
You know where?
There's one, I think 420, the Electric Forest up here, where it's a camping event, 2-day camping event, 420-ish. The Electric Forest, you probably find that shit on Instagram. And that's the same thing. 2 days of partying, probably some mushrooms. Not saying there will be, but that type of group, that kind of type of fun.
Yeah.
But it's more and more fucking happening. The smaller events. Bad Bunny Nutrients is putting together like a small, little guy cup here. But he's not trying to make anything really off it, just to cover the minimum, just for the little guys.
That's
but
cool.
A good guy, nonetheless. He's same thing, same attitude. Fuck high times, you know what I mean? Let's do it ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and hey, with an attitude like that, it's the only way we're gonna get better at everything, in my opinion, because who knows? Even the underdog going to see that, then they're going to rise up from that. You know what I mean? The people younger than us, they look up to this, so.
So I dig this. So I didn't even get a chance to ask you, basically. We kind of just ran with this. I don't even know if I should ask now, because it'd walk us so far backwards, but usually I ask.
I got to take a
When was the first time with your cannabis? When was the first time you got high? I mean, a lot of us. I've heard all the way to 6.
Yeah,
6.
I was 9 years old. I was 9, and ever since then, I loved it. I really started when I was 12. That's when I started. But when I was 9 was when I first hit it.
Right on.
And the story, here's the story. Everybody wants to know the story. So basically, I have 2 older brothers, okay? And at the time, this is about 99, 2000. Probably 99 though. And maybe was I younger then? Shit. I don't know, dude. Anyway, no cell phones. Everybody was on bikes and rollerblades and skateboards, you know what I'm saying? Playing fucking basketball every day. The park was loaded every day. Knocking on people's doors to say what's up. So this is back in the day. I had this buddy named Eddie. He was a couple years older than me. And he was like my best friend, man. And we were sitting on his porch, and his older sister was like friends with my older brother. And she was weird, man. She was really weird. But anyway, she she fucking apparently hooked him up with some weed, and he was like, "You want to smoke some weed?" And we were just sitting on the front porch, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll hit it." I hit it. Nothing happened really. I was like, "Sweet." I felt really cool, because I don't know. I was 9 years old. I was already smoking cigarettes, but now that I was smoking weed, I was like really cool. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I was a skateboarder hanging out with the older kids. Everybody was like, "Oh, look out for that cat," and fucking. So I thought I was cool, and then when I was 12, it was funny. This is when I first got high. Um, I was in Wyandotte. My dad. Wait, was I 12? No, I was like 11. I was 11. I had to be because I'm not trying to, be like this, but my dad died when I was 12. So I was 11 and I was at my dad's house. And this dude next door was like a couple years older than me. He's a little fucker, man. He used to shoot paintballs at the fucking mailman and shit, bro. He used to do all sorts of fucked up shit, dude. It was so funny. And like I would be his little sidekick sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And so his brother used to do like work for cannabis, man. He would do car work for people. And so he'd have like pounds laying around, And he would his little brother, my buddy, he was like, "Hey, come hit this shit," And he was in we were smoking out of what do you call a dugout? We were smoking out of a dugout. And the second hit, bro, I started like almost hallucinating, like tripping, bro. I was young, I was into Pokemon. And I just remember I was like, man, I feel like Blastoise, bro. I feel like Blastoise. And I grabbed a blanket and I put it over my head and I was like, acting like a crazy kid getting high, you know what I mean? And ever since from then until I was like 17, I always was getting really high on weed, you know what I mean? So like I always leaned towards like painkillers and shit because I was too fucking hyped up. But now, I use weed for the same reason I used painkillers. It's kind of funny how that works out, but yeah, that's how I first started smoking.
That's a funny story. I'm glad to hear you make the switch, to be honest with you, because I've actually lost. I somehow managed to avoid the pharmaceutical addiction that plagued so much of the people that in my family and that I grew up around. Man, that shit killed my mom. I'm serious.
Sorry
That
about that.
prescription grills pills killed my mom at 48. She
I'm sorry
was
to hear that.
Vicodin, anything she could get her hand on. She fucking. I actually used this. Uh, I actually used my oldest daughter as a somewhat leverage. Tried to in my mind, and this is really a fucking moment too. In my mind, uh, I tried to use my daughter as a tool to help get her off of drugs, but in the end, I think I deprived her of seeing her granddaughter, and and then she passed. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And in that, ups and downs, she actually, there was a time where I didn't see her and she would get clean, and then it'd be like, okay, you're clean, and then she would that celebration would be enough to get high on the way over. And by the time she'd stop, get something, and she'd be fucked up by the time she'd get to the house.
but it was also anything to see her,
And
right? It was basically that's what you had to do to see her, right? Like it's just so you could be like,
everything I thought I did, I honestly thought I was doing because I loved her, and I honestly, looking back, think of all the time I probably robbed myself from her. You know what I mean?
but here's the
And
thing. You can't blame yourself for any of that because check this out, man. The person that died, was like my best friend and my girlfriend. I mean, I was friends with her since I was 13 years old, and she died in my bed. I woke up and she was dead, you know, and she, it was her birthday too, bro. And here's the thing. She, I was trying to get her off drugs, you know. So this is how I did it. The second I knew she was doing them, and this was me after being clean for a year. I mean, I went to rehab a bunch of times and shit. I was on the streets, you know, blah blah blah. But my she was doing drugs, and I seen it, so I was like, "Yo, here, I'm not letting you do all that shit." So I would take it and I'd cut it in half, and I'd be like, "There, that's all you get." And I would get high. And she was like, "I don't like you high." And I said, "Me neither." I said, "This is what it does though." And I was like, "I don't want you doing this shit, you know?" And so she got clean because she didn't like seeing me on it, straight up. And she was happy for like a week, you know, and we got Suboxone. I got her on Suboxone and stuff. Well, I didn't get her on Suboxone. It's just like I encouraged her to like try and get clean, you know. And on her birthday, bro, like I took some Xanax and drank about a case of beer and fucking, you know, we got fucking baked. And I told her, I was like, "I can't stay up. I'm sorry." I went to sleep and I woke up and she was dead. And I didn't know it. I ran downstairs and her dad's, you know, asleep. And I run outside. I'm like, "My truck's here. What the fuck?" I run back upstairs and I see her there in front of my bed. And I ran downstairs. I said, "Wake up, call an ambulance." I grabbed a garbage lid full of snow and I ran upstairs and I put it in her armpits and I fucking, you know, I tried getting her up and shit. And I said, "Call the ambulance." Yada, yada. Fucking cops came and they treated me like shit. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. But, you know, I sometimes I catch myself slipping and thinking about that, like how you were just talking about it. And it's just not, it's not. I fell asleep and she got that shit. I was with her every second. I fell asleep and she went and got that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you could have done, bro. Different. Everything you did was probably a light in her life. That's how you should probably look at it. Because she wrote me, you know, like she appreciated me. All right. This is somebody, she came from pretty rough fucking, all right, pretty rough fucking place, man. Straight up. And me and her, we fit. Two misfits, we fit really well. And, you know, drugs stole her right out of my fucking arms. And it's not, I was sleeping, bro. There's nothing I could have done. There's nothing. I did everything I could leading up to that point to try and get her away from it, you know? I didn't even know where she was getting the shit. And it's like, you know, like I thought at first, like I would want to kill them, you know what I'm saying? Like get rid of them motherfuckers. And I went out, I drove out west and I said, "Fuck this," you know, and I went some soul searching and I changed my life around. I quit hustling, everything. I quit just everything, you know. I didn't want to see that no more. And on my way back from traveling out west and doing soul searching and shit, my one of my best friends, my other best friend fucking died. And we were just messaging with each other like "I miss you, bro," you know, and shit. And he's a rapper and shit, and like a lot of people know him for thugging and beating the fuck out of people and robbing and shit. But that was we skated together, you know. We didn't do drugs with each other. We were brothers. Brothers don't do drugs with each other. They don't want each other to see each other fucking fail, you know. And we wouldn't do drugs with each other. That was a real motherfucker. And he's gone. On my way back,
Sorry
And I
for
was
your loss, bro.
I was trying. Dude, same for you, bro. We've all lost them. You know what I'm saying? We've all lost some real ones, man. And if you haven't, you know, it's okay, man. I'm still glad you're here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is, I guess I have more of a positive message from it than, I could take from it, and that's just because I don't want to see people fail. I want to see people succeed, even though I feel like, I kind of feel like a failure sometimes, but it's just because coming from the gutter, it's kind of hard to I don't want to egotistically beat my head that I'm the man. I want to be real here. Like I want to be real. What I got ain't shit. I don't have that much shit, bro. But what I got, I can work with like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't worried about. I'm not, and so I'm not worried about people's opinion. That's just me being real. Is when I say I'm a failure, yada yada. I don't even have a GED, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
I could,
shit.
dude. That's what I'm saying about the hustle. I mean, the hustle of life. Sometimes the hands we're dealt with makes us a so much better of a person. And I'm seeing that. And again, I've said for the second time tonight, I'm seeing that in the cat that I'm looking across from the screen, man. And I've seen somebody that has made the best out of a fucking, obviously, a rough path. And I've got tons of respect for you, man. Chad's giving
Thanks,
you
bro.
fucking tons of fucking props all through this, man.
Thanks, Chad.
You're,
Much love,
you know,
guys. For real.
so I got tons of respect for you so far, and not so far. Boom! I have tons of respect for you. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Same
So
here. Yeah.
I appreciate, and I'm glad to hear that cannabis has had this kind of impact on your life, man, because it
Oh,
has mine. This shit that we're talking about right here. This is why I do this, man. This is why I've been a caregiver. This is why I like to hear these stories because they need to be told, man. The people that are on that cusp of not knowing if they cannabis can do it or not. They can leave the addiction and fucking come to cannabis. It can. These stories are fucking true. You know what I mean? So
bro.
thank you
I've
for
grown.
telling us yours, man.
I've done some, even shit, man. Like everything I've told you is just basically, like a little. There's so much more. Like it's so like my story has so many different chapters. It's fucking crazy. Like, and I notice people who are successful don't have as many stories. You know what I'm saying? But the people who are super successful have a lot of stories. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to compare myself, but I'm just saying, like I got a lot of fucking, thick, I got a thick old fucking book, man, with some crazy chapters. Like, I have some funny characters in my fucking book, man, that people would laugh their asses off if they heard about, like, straight up, man. And I've had some crazy trips on shrooms, man, like that are like straight up out of this fucking world, bro. And if I explained it, people would be like, what the fuck? Like I had to like recoup. I almost had PTSD from a mushroom trip before. Like straight up. Ended up in
How
handcuffs.
bad? In handcuffs? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, bro.
Uh,
It was crazy.
I've
But
had some crazy nights like that, but not from
how
mushrooms, from acid, not mushrooms. I've had acid trips that's led there, but not
really?
mushroom trips.
See,
The worst mushroom trip I ever had me. I talk about this. It actually changed my life. It was like 2 years ago. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a pretty long story. But man,
exactly.
I messed up. I was taking philosopher stones. I was getting them wet. You know what I mean? Oddly enough, for one of my daughter's boyfriends, and and which are old enough, 20s can be. My oldest daughter's 25, so this Well, it's not like it was youngins when I say daughter. It's completely an adult.
I hear you.
Anyways,
We all know, I think.
fast forward.
Yeah.
So they were wet at the time, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he palms me a dry batch. And I didn't fucking, I was taking 5.5 a wet. And then all of a sudden I take 5.5 completely dry. And whoo, woof. I
Bye-bye.
ended up having to it was tough, man. It bound me up like real bad. It made me see shit I didn't want to see, which
Yeah.
ended up becoming true. All of it came true. All of what I was faced to deal with that night, all of it came true, brother. All
Wow.
of it came true. It was like it was like being blind for so long and then having the mushroom, the truth, just somebody holding my eyes open and going, this is what's really going on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was tough. And I at one point, man, I couldn't even talk. I had to call somebody and just have them on the phone to just hear, you know what I mean? I didn't even say nothing. I just had to know there was a connection to, sanity.
That's
Basically.
hey, that's why I ended up in cuffs, because I was looking for that I was that deep, bro. That's why I ended up in cuffs, was because I was looking for that fucking reality check, man.
That lifeline.
Bro, it was scary. It was really scary. It was scary as fuck, for sure. Eagle, I gotta take a fat piss, man.
Go ahead, man. I'll talk to chat for a minute
For
if
sure.
you want to roll with that.
See if they have any questions. Get the most asked question or whatever. I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem, man. If you guys have any questions for Gus, go ahead and throw them up there and tag me if you'd like me to ask him some questions. Man, what a great story so far, man. Tons of respect for this guy. Cheddar13, nice to see you in chat, my friend. How are you doing? You've been missed last few days. Anybody seen Johnny? Johnny in chat tonight? What the fuck? I haven't seen Johnny's name tonight. Joe Y, Australian grown. Cheers to you guys. Of course, Smiley's Garden, Soilborn Addiction. Bill Sid, The Art of War. I love that book. I love them types of book. We just got done reading The Training Mind, which is right along the lines of The Art of War. Great book as well. I spent a lot of time on that. Lexi's my middle daughter, by the way. She's my middle daughter, Lexi. Australian Goals 420. Cheers to you guys as well. EA. Is that Andy? Andy, are you EA? Change your name a little bit there. Symbol looks has changed. The same, of course, Chaz Westport. Much respect to you, my friend. Ian. Who else we got floating around in chat? If you're not 4x4, cheers to you. I seen Madam T in there earlier. Cass, I don't know if you're still listening. Cheers to you. Hopefully Cheech B in chat as well. Dozer. What in the fuck is that symbol? I seen Smiley ass in chat earlier too. Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. Every time I try to pull up your name, I'm like, what the fuck is that symbol? Al the Beastly, cheers to you, my friend, as well. No, you're not Andy. A new name? I gotta put a new name in there. EA, you're on the shout outs list since you're not Andy.
Oh my god, I just seen the hairstylist thing. That's hilarious, dude.
Is that what that thing is?
What?
Dozer? Is that what you're talking about?
I see somebody saying, "Do we have the same barber?"
Oh,
I showed my girlfriend, and she's like, "Dude, people are gonna bust your balls about that." She's like, "Cause you guys look so much alike, dude." She's like, "You guys look related, man." I was like, "I know, dude. It sucks, but that's what it is, you know." Oh, it's so
dude,
funny.
you know what's funny is we share. I know you're new to this show and community, but again, if you look back at a lot of these episodes, man, the way we feel about money and a whole, you know, unwittingly the backstory,
Eagle, I'm
a
gonna cut you
lot
off.
similar.
No, I'm gonna cut you off. That's why I reached out to you, and I haven't reached out to anyone else really, like about, because I feel like I feel like I can actually vibe with you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And like actually maybe have a stronghold. You know what I'm saying? In the future for future
Oh,
things with cannabis and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, I totally enjoyed this. They were saying though, because of our similar outlook, attitude, and somewhat backstory, uh, they were saying he's a baby eagle. He's a baby eagle. Then
baby.
they said they were like Vegas is dead, and then
Oh
there's
my
Eagle
god,
and Baby Eagle. Holy shit! There's a whole troop of
that's
them.
so funny. Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
There's nothing wrong with this haircut. Come on, guys. This is
Right.
perfect. Get up and go look. You know
That's
what's sad is once you get this haircut, you can never go back. You can never recover from this haircut. You can never grow hair. Just play it. What are we looking at?
Temple Kush. Beautiful.
Temple Cooks.
This one is Mr. Nasty. Really hard to get her going, but she's gonna be worth it. And this is Bantam Ices from Fish Food or something like that, or Fishy Kush, which is a wedding cake cross. Look at all that. Isn't that funny? It's kind of funny, huh? I mean, really.
Ah, it happens. It happens.
Welcome home. Honey, I'm home.
So I got to touch a little bit about the breeding thing, because that does kind of strike on this side quite a bit. And I do preach a lot about the breeding, you know what I mean? A lot about the don't. And I don't have a problem with the little guys breeding for their sustainability, keeping it home, experiments like that. It's mainly for when, there people are just crossing shit and trying to make a buck off it. And I'm a breeder, and you know what I mean? But if you're doing it for sustainability, or
Fuck
you
you if you're doing
fucking
that.
right, that, you know what I mean? If you're gonna do it for sustainability and work something out, and then it's good, and you've got something stable, and then you want to pass it out, fucking power to you. Work it. You know what I
Bro,
mean? Do the
free
work. Be a
seed.
proper breeder.
Free
You
seed.
got to start somewhere.
And here's the thing, dude. I'm gonna breed them out, like find a male and female from each one, the best one, and then I'm gonna make that my selection for the rest of my life out of that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, there's nothing that, I don't even, if you're giving them out, as long as when you're having them out, you're going, this is what I'm doing. And then the other thing, that's a problem with a lot of the breeding that I have. I was talking about that the other night with Canifari, that I would like breeders when they're working their shit. I want to know, is this an F1? You know what I mean? A lot of people, they just buy seeds. They have no idea what phase of breeding they're buying.
Yeah,
You know what I
see,
mean?
yeah.
Is this?
I don't wanna hand my stuff out until I actually get a male and female of each one, a couple runs. It's gonna be maybe like a year and a half before I get something I really want to hand out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing this making seeds and then being like, yo, hit me up. I got cool seeds. I got cool stuff. No, that's not what I'm doing. And I want people to know that, like, that's not at all what I'm doing. That's not what I'm about. And if that's what you're doing, I don't support you. Like I really don't. And I want to bind with a community who's just like me, who doesn't support those people. And there's us. There's going to be you with your little money gang, and then there's going to be people who actually fucking stand for something. Okay, and that's how it is, bro. And I'm on that line. I'm on that line of the fence, bro. I'm never going to be on the fence. I'm not ever going to fucking sell out or sell my shit, dude. Straight up. you're in Michigan, if you're in Michigan and you want a hand in my shit when it gets good and I figure it out after a couple years, be my guest, dude. I'm all in.
That awkward pause. That's fucking hilarious. It's kind of like sealed the deal probably on the Junior Eagle thing. It was like, just like, again, you said been about here about 2 weeks ago. I'm coming up on year 2. You know what I mean? And
it's 2 years? I thought it was 1, dude. That's awesome.
No, you're right. It is. I'm just starting to. So I just come around 1.
Okay, cool.
And right around 1 there, things, I'm you've told me your story, and I try to be very real and honest. I duck a lot of shit. I don't like to talk about myself, but you've told me your story tonight, and I was on that weird moment, fucking life kind of fucking kick you in the face, kind of. It was the perfect storm of bullshit, to be honest with you. Life, bullshit, and bullshit, and bullshit, and just when I thought I had a fucking handle on it, fucking bullshit lifted my head up by the hair I didn't have, and then kind of kicked me in the teeth one last time. And I was fucking kind of had me staggered there for a few days, a week, and then I kind of had that moment where I was like, you know what, when you hit that moment, you decide what you want, what you're going to be passionate about. And this project right here, cannabis, my whole it was a total reinvigoration on this project, and I kind of got back on there after a couple of days of fucking fuckity foo, and fucking said, you know what, guys, I'm back and I'm all fucking in. I'm all in on this project. So that's why I kind of laughed when you said that, because that's been my motto lately. I'm fucking all in.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I've been watching for the past couple of weeks. I mean, not every day, and I try to see some of the older stuff that on your channel, So
I hope you do, man. A lot of cool shit, man. Fucking, there's over 300. This is 358, man. There's well over 300 and some stories, just like your own. Cool people. That's what I built this whole community about, was like on people like ourselves. I started this with the idea of just doing it for fun, and I'm gonna keep doing it for fun. I'm not trying to monetize shit. I'm not trying to sell anybody shit.
Yeah, you said you made like 4 cents or some shit. Like, like you're not trying to do nothing big on this.
Not even, man. I don't even want to, and that's the thing too. I've been quite on the record of saying, man, I think once you start taking money in, that's when it starts becoming a fucking obligation, and you start regretting it. You know what I mean? Because you have to.
Yeah, I have a whole lot to say on that too. Shit. But go on. No, go on.
And I don't want to make it to where I have to. I want to keep this to where I love it. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's too easy to keep it to where, I love it because I love it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to make it to where I regret it, or I feel like I have to, or whatever. I love it the way it is, and I don't plan on fucking changing it anytime soon.
Hey, bro, and you know what? There's more power to you for that, because there's too many sponsor me sluts out there. Way too many sponsor me sluts. Keep it real. You know what I'm saying? You're keeping it real. I can appreciate that. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, bro.
And I'm not the only one. There's a ton of great people that hang out here and donate time, and hopefully that, you know what I mean, you'll be part of that.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It takes this aspect to you have to do this to get to the wormhole and start hanging out as freely as you'd like to hang out.
Dude, I want to meet you. I want to meet people, man. You guys are really cool, and I love what you're doing, Eagle. It's fucking rad, dude. You're bringing in some cool people, and Yeah, man, I really approve of what you're doing and the way that you carry yourself and everything. Fucking, you keep it at a. It's like a personal. You don't have to be all business hype. And like, dude, because I got some info. Like I said earlier, people don't take me real. I'll send a drunk message about some real info, and it probably sounds like ass to them, you know. So here I am, fucking blabbering on them, and they're like, God, this guy. But you are real and chill, and I have this platform now to be like, yo, people, here's some info, and I don't seem like such a jackass. And not only that, I get to I really wanted to meet I wanted to meet people who are like-minded because I've been in the street world. I've grown for fucking some shady motherfuckers, man. I've done A and B I've done A and B part nutrients for some shady people who have fucked me over bad. You know what I'm saying? And I don't I feel like there's a lot more people like me out there who, are wanting to keep this at a hobby level, but keep it at their best that they can, and have fun with it and like really be about the what it does for people and like who it brings around and like how it makes you feel, what it does for health. Money is money. You can make money off of selling fucking dirty pictures of your dirty feet. All right. Who like if you're making money off of weed and stuff, it's like, dude, it's nothing new, like, who do you think is at the top? The motherfucking dogs who have been at the top since cannabis has been sold in your neighborhood, bro. Like, you're never gonna get up there, dude. Like, chill out. You know what I mean? Like, that's a pipe dream. These people that get all hype and they want to get to the top. It's like, dude, the people who sold you weed when you were in high school are still at the top, dude. Don't kid yourself. You're never gonna get up there. Chill the fuck out, unless you come up with some shit no one has ever heard of ever. You're never gonna get there. Like, I mean, and I don't mean to sound like that, but it's like, don't try to be that person. That's what makes you not that person. You know? If and everybody's trying to be that person, so they end up looking like to someone like me and you, like, dude, this guy's just a dollar sign, like he's not real. He's just a bill.
So let's let's get back. You took us all the way to California, and
Oh,
we took the big fat piss.
oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, that thing was like 3 beers. I'm glad I can refill with some water now though. California, man. Oh man, I have some funny times in California working for the magazine crew. If you guys are out west, you know what I'm talking about. These guys go knocking on doors and selling fake fucking magazine subscriptions in Beverly Hills. I've seen some pretty cool spots doing it. I've smoked some pretty cool weed doing it. In Arizona, cheapest weed I ever bought, I gave this guy $5 and he gave me a handful and he said, "Is that enough?" I said, "No." He kept giving me more, dude. It was called stress. That's what they called it in Arizona, regs, like Mexican brickweed. But I love that shit. I honestly, I miss those days of buying fucking Mexican brickweed, dude. I really do. I loved it. I loved getting that sprayed shit. Sprayed with a bunch of fucking pesticides. I don't know what it was, dude. It just got me so stoned.
I don't know if I love the weed as much as I love that time in my life. You know what I mean? I hope the people of the future, the next generation doesn't know brickweed.
Yeah.
But that was a very fucking amazing time, to be honest with you.
You're right. You're right. No, I agree. I can, yeah, 100% agree with that actually. Because I don't want
I
anybody.
remember fucking fluffing them bricks, man. Fucking getting, 10-pound bricks and just fucking taking them and fucking over a 3-gallon pot of water and fucking a baker's rack and fluffing that shit up and fucking to make it look halfway decent before it went out.
Orange peel, and then filling like the big bag with orange peels and shit, whatever, you know. Fucking, you ever try that one?
Yes. Yes. God, that was back in the days, man. Back
Yeah,
in the days.
it's funny because I'm a
Like I
younger.
said, I'm not afraid to admit that, cannabis saved, when I talk about cannabis saved my life, it's been so on so many levels. It's like in at different points too. You know what I mean? It's been
Yeah,
there, had to save me for a bit. The guy got me up to a different level, then in a different level, and it's kind of went from like it's been a way weird progression. It was like kind of get you high a little bit, get you just away from life and its stress, and then it kind of provided a little income for a little while, and then it fucking taught me how to grow, and then it actually started, a little bit of income, but it started making me a little bit better of a person. And then
yeah,
as you grow, man, it expands your mind, it makes you a better fucking person,
the
all in all,
humbling
man. As the
experience.
plant, yes, it is, man. As the plant grows and you grow, each grow, it does it, man. It starts, sucking the shitty shit out of you, makes you start rethinking things. And
Yeah,
it's a miracle of the path of the cannabis, man. And I owe a lot to this plant. That's what I say, man. When this recent thing, man, I looked at things, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, that's the direction I need to go in. That one right there has been
hmm,
saved my ass so many times, and it saved a lot of people. Not just I've actually it has medically saved a lot of people around me. My
hmm.
daughter won.
Oh,
My
cool.
my daughter here in Chad, man. She had a problem with PTSD after a car accident. Terrible. I won't get too into much of her story, but
Dude, me too.
it definitely.
I had a pretty fucked up, I had a few car accidents I've been in actually, but the last one I was in, it sucked, man, because, yeah, dude. Yeah, car accidents fucking suck, man. Now, like, it's hard for people that are driving with me to understand. Besides, under the canopy 420, my buddy Mike, dude, he gets it. He understands like everything that's fucking wrong with me. It's awesome. And I really appreciate that because a lot of people don't get it. But dude, in a car, if I'm not driving, like I am so fucking nervous in the car, bro. It just scares the shit out of me now. And I gotta be driving. And even when I'm driving sometimes, like when I'm going around turns, because what happened was I got wrapped around a tree when we were going around a turn, you know, and fucking yeah, the person I was with, which hopefully it's not your daughter. I mean, I'm not saying hopefully it wasn't your daughter, but she'd probably say something if it was. But anyway, the girl I was with, she broke her collarbone in this fucking accident too. And like I didn't have anything wrong with me visibly, but my when I got hit by the tree, bro, my knee overlapped my other knee and my nuts got fucking like squished, bro. And I've had pain in my fucking nut bag ever since, like bad in my back, like so bad. But dude, I got fucking ever since then. I've been so scared in a car accident. The one before that, though, I got rear-ended going 55 miles per hour, and I wasn't the driver in that one either. So I can't. I don't like being in a car with somebody I don't know. You know what I mean? I just can't do it. It's just they got to know me, otherwise it's gonna be a fucking shitty ride. So
Dude,
we,
and that shit is fucking real. And I seen that shit with my daughter, To be honest with you, super honest with you, I got some years on you. You know what I mean? And seeing the younger generations come up with a lot of anxiety and PTSD for multi reasons. I kind of questioned it because it was so everywhere. You know what I mean? It was so talked about. It seemed like every kid had it, and it just like it was like it seemed like it was just a blanket term anymore. You know what I mean?
Dude,
And so I kind of questioned it. I kind of questioned it a little bit. And then when my daughter had it there, and I seen her struggle with it, man, was that a fucking wake up call for me? Oh, I felt like
I couldn't. Oh
apologizing to
man,
everybody that I ever come across that said they had it. And it
yeah,
was everything you're talking about, man. For the longest time, I couldn't even get her into. She was thrown from a car too, 100 miles an hour, while the car rolled and chased her and her girlfriend to the
oh,
tree line. They barely, both of them just barely missed the tree while the car
I don't
rolled
even,
at them, hit
man,
the
yeah,
tree, and then barely bounced back from crushing them. It landed at their feet. I mean, it was the officer when he told me the story cried because he said it never works out like that. To be honest with you, so it was a long journey to get her back into a car. There was you couldn't there was you could watch her. I mean, seriously, she would be like, okay, I'm okay to get in the car today. And then as you'd get down the road, man, you could just see it her lock up, and she'd have to you couldn't listen to the radio. There was times where we just had to turn around and go back home. You know what I mean? Or you do
yeah,
know what I mean, obviously. And it was even to this day, there, it hits her out of nowhere. We can have great days and be headed on, and you know, it is what it is. It's hard to deal with them instances, and you never see them coming, man. And hats off to you both, man. It's what and I they after that, man, they tried to give her fucking shit for that shit, and it was back and forth on. Well, she can. Well, liquid Valium. 19 years old. She can't even. I can't take mashed potatoes. She can't take pills.
so this happened pretty young, huh?
Which yeah, and I'm pretty thankful that she can't take pills because of the genetics that we've talked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know it's so I'm thankful actually she can't take a pill. But when this happened, they prescribed her liquid Valium to, at the time, irresponsible 19-year-old, 5 mils, which is a drop. You know what I mean? They gave her a bottle this fucking big. Here you go. And man, it was terrible. Terrible. So they took her off that. They put her on some other shit. And that
yeah,
other shit was, man, every
yeah.
fucking side effect.
I've
And
been on
luckily,
everything,
cannabis,
dude.
CBD fucking stepped in. And, like I said,
Straight
man,
up,
I owe this plant so much.
straight
So
up, dude.
much.
Yeah, I've been on every pill a psychiatric doctor tries to push. I've been on straight up. Every pain pill. I had a doctor that would prescribe me Adderall, Xanax, and Percocet at the same time, and I'd fucking go ham, or I'd sell them. It was up to me what I wanted to do. Like that was from 17 until 24. I would get Percocet, Xanax, and fucking Adderall and shit. On top of that, they depending on how if I was, and this is what I figured out when I was coming off of a withdrawal is when I'd end up in the psych ward. I didn't know what withdrawal was. That's where I got my bipolar from. Was from me withdrawing, being without shit. Straight up, I would go crazy and act crazy, get all paranoid, all sorts of shit. So now I know, just sticking to cannabis, and I drink too, but if I get too out of hand with drinking, that causes paranoia too. So I gotta be easy with drinking. You know what I'm saying? But they put me on a bunch of shit, man. I mean, I've been on when I was 13, I broke my ankle, and they put me on OxyContin. And I was like, bye bye world. Hello opium. So
It's
you
shit's
know,
rough.
bro.
That shit's rough, man. That's another thing too, man. People, this is where the terrible addiction is with that is, man. People don't even realize they've healed. You know what I mean? They get that pain medication and they fucking taking that shit and it masks everything. Oh yeah, I feel good. I feel good. I'm healed. So they take, they stop taking it. Oh my God, the aches and pains are back. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm still hurt. Well, it's not the injury that's hurting you anymore. It's the aches and pains from the fucking opiates leaving your
Yeah.
body. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So they're tricked into thinking it's the injury. It's not the injury. You're fucking healed.
Yeah.
Your fucking aches and pains are from the medicine. So you gobble in more.
Exactly.
Ooh, I'm not ready. And then it's just more and more and more. I've seen the fucking cycle so many times.
I have to go close things up. I'll be right back.
No problem, man. Todd Kendricks, cheers to you. Thank you all for listening. Hope Lexi, if you're listening, I hope you don't mind me sharing a little bit of your story. Much love to you, baby. Cheddar Bob 13. You're exactly right. 9 pound hammer is amazing for a sleep aid. I ran that for a very long time. My patients love that. I had a cancer patient that made, as you say, RSO out of it, and it was his. Oh, he got so much fucking relief out of the 9 pound hammer RSO. Times he couldn't sleep at all.
Dude, I've see, this is the thing. I made so many different batches of different shits. Is this still on? Oh no. But I've made so many different batches. Um, I think the most instantly healed I've ever felt from the plant was when I juiced it raw, straight up. I've never felt anything better. Um, Actually, it kind of reminds me of when I eat really healthy, like 3 days in a row. Um, Everything is running better, uh, your sexual drive is stronger. Like, your mental state is just like uplifted. I think the raw plant has a lot more benefits than people know about because it's invisible, and everybody's system is linked to their DNA differently, really. I mean, it's connected the same, but it affects them differently. Like different things affect people's system differently. So, like, raw cannabis, what it does for me, it, it might affect the ailments that you have, and it make you feel those uplifted. You don't have the same thing going on as me in your body, but it might help you. You know what I'm saying? I think raw cannabis is sweet. I've made a lot of RSO and stuff like that, and the sleep is great, and shitting all your fucking just shitting and basically just shitting your guts out, and getting that fresh start is really nice. That's really good. But I think it might be too expensive to just juice raw cannabis. I mean, you know, that could be a pricey.
I'll tell you what, I've never tried it myself, but there's folks just like you're saying that say agree with you 100%. Tribal Gardens was on the show, and said the same thing. He actually he makes his into ice cubes, and then
Ooh,
just throws them in with a drink or something like that. I can't remember which drink,
that's
but
smart.
he actually Smiley's Gardens asking about juicing raw cannabis, but he had fiber. He suffers from fibromyalgia. It was one of the reasons he started juicing with him. And before all that, he said they had problems with their fingernails getting weak and like bending back, teeth getting loose. You know what I mean? He said once he started juicing, his stomach problems got instantly better. fingernails solid, backed up, his teeth tightened back up. He noticed the benefits almost immediately. But what you're saying about how your body, you think your body dictates, how it goes for different people. I 100% agree with that. I was just telling a friend that the other day, and a lot of people I've told on the show my opinion on this as well about just edibles in general. The people that fucking you let's say me and you eat edibles side by side. We're the same, basically body structure, weight.
Don't
I'm
say
not
that.
saying
Don't say
that.
that.
I'm just as an example. I don't know. I'm just as an
No,
example.
that's funny
You know
though.
what I mean?
That's because everybody in the chat's gonna laugh at that one.
I'm probably. But I eat my same amount of edibles. You eat the same amount of edibles.
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
tore up. You don't, or vice versa.
yeah.
I
Dude, me and my
think that
brother we can never get ripped off of them.
See,
Swear to
now
God.
that's where the flag comes up. That's where the flag, I always tell the
Genetics.
people, man, if you're not getting high off of edibles, I think your body's
Oh,
you eat it and your body's going, hey man, you don't need to get this to get high. Your body, we're gonna turn this into like pain, anti-inflammatory. It's gonna go towards your back. You know what I mean? We're
yeah,
not turning it into Delta 11 where you're getting
yeah.
high. I think your body, as it's being ingested, dictates this is a medicine or this is getting high. You know what I mean? Basically, so the two side by side, because you know what I mean. If one's getting high and like again the side by side, I'm getting tore up, or you're getting tore up and I'm not. I'm thinking, man, there's something on. I'm missing a beat here. I should maybe rethink. See where my cannabis is going, other
Yeah,
than
but
to
really
my head for the
it
party.
just affects people differently. Yeah, you know, because yeah, I do it all the time, man, and it's just I give myself a hard time because anytime I smoke the same bud that I make into edibles, I'm ripped. But if I make edibles, dude. Oh, another thing is sugar, man. Weed sugar. I've been making weed sugar. I've done it like 4 times now. Okay, and I'm telling you, it gets stronger over time. If you ever uh, what do you call it? Infuse your sugar with uh, tincture. Like it gets stronger over time as it's dry. It needs to like cure or something. You know what I mean? So I don't know because one time I ate it off rip when it was first dry. I didn't get high at all. Didn't feel nothing. Didn't feel nothing. And then 2 weeks later, I tried it and I was ripped. I was fucking completely ripped. So sometimes it needs to cure, I think, with the sugar and the tincture stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's my personal shit. Like we said,
Well,
Well,
I've never heard it, actually be again, when I think of sugar and sugar cubes, I think back to the old days where we just like dose up the sugar cube. I've never even thought about doing like a marijuana like tincture to sugar, to be honest with you. But when you bring it up and knowing that's the beauty of cannabis, man, it takes you down so many alleys. And I go down the organics road and I'm learning somewhat about ferments, and you're already ahead of me there a little bit. It sounds like
I've
I
only been
can't
doing
help
it a
but
couple of
wonder
years.
if the sugars, it seems like sugar, everything's feeding off of sugars. Plants are feeding off sugars. Us as humans dictate, through insulin, how, we live off it. It dictates us, how we think, whatnot. So I can't help but wonder when you add the, cannabis tincture to the sugar and let it sit, if there isn't some type of
Metabolizing
fermenting
and some shit.
process. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, something that's working
right.
it into the next phase or something,
And
man.
that's what I think happens. And here's where this is something new. I've been thinking about this actually for a minute, but have you heard of C90? C90.
No, I haven't. Tell me about it.
C90. Okay, so it's sea minerals. It's just dried up seawater that has a bunch of minerals. It has like, how many different, does it say? 90 different minerals and trace elements, 50,000 organic compounds, right? And it's all organic, you know, but you know how they make sauerkraut, right? Well, some of the probiotics that come from sauerkraut are in some of the fucking, I've noticed on some of the labels of these things, micro bottles, right? And I'm just sitting here thinking like, okay, they're using regular salt basically, or sea salt to make, what do you call it? Sauerkraut. But if I use C90 to do it, right, I will then gain this lactobacillus that's in the sauerkraut, and I will have this trace mineral. So I can use that as an input. So now I'm going to work on making a sauerkraut / fruit ferments using C90, and rather than using all brown sugar, because I, along with a lot of other people with the KNF shit, are like, man, all this sugar, you know what I mean? And if you're not using brown rice vinegar with your inputs, you're having the problem with it, okay? And that's why I don't use too many KNF inputs, is because I don't use the brown rice vinegar. So I think when I do this, it's going to help out a lot. And it's going to kind of be that crossroad of, oh, I don't really need to use brown sugar as much as I do now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give that a whirl and see how that goes. And obviously you only use a little pinch of the sea minerals with like a 5-gallon bucket. You only use a pinch. You know what I mean? So when I do that, it's going to be very minimal, you know. But yeah, man, I'm going to try that shit out. Fucking ferments are where it's at. I mean, it has been for my foliar regime is just FAA, OHN, C90, and this Photo Plus. And sometimes I'll throw in like this, like alfalfa shit or some other kind of grain ferment or something like that, you know? But
nice. You know, and again, that's what makes this kind of cool, is if you can make this work and fucking, if you can make that kind of shit work in Detroit, you know what I mean? You can get your shit together and, you know, use it in Detroit.
yeah.
Theoretically, you can fucking make it work anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The wasteland where I'm at, dude.
No, not necessarily that. I'm just referring to like, because when I talk to people in like the ferments, they're taking, you know, bits and pieces and they're gathering their surroundings, you know what I mean? They're making their own nitrogen, whatever. So if you can source your nutrients even, you know, from your Detroit inner city or city surroundings,
yeah,
that's what I'm getting at, is you can fucking do it anywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and even with garbage growing around me, I say garbage growing because no one picks it up, and people just keep throwing it. So garbage is growing around me with the plants. So it kind of gets a little hectic at times when you're looking around for a good spot, or you're looking for some good mushrooms, and then next thing you know, you see a bunch of trash or a tent, or you know, some shitty underwear from somebody that doesn't want to put it in a bag and throw it in the next dumpster they see. I don't know, man. Fucking it gets frustrating looking for anything that you want to use as an input, because I'll tell you what, I'm the person that does that. I have a spot. I'm not going to tell you where, but I have a spot where I pick morels that's local. And you know, I'm the only, I told a couple people, fucked up, but I have a spot for morel mushrooms that's local. And a couple years ago I ate them and stuff. I'm starting to think maybe that's why I got sick, because the glyphosate, you know, I get them at a local park, and I didn't really take it into configuration. Like, oh man, there's a lot of shit going on in the environment around these morel mushrooms, but they are growing there. And it sucks, man, because like now I'm not going to eat them anymore, but I am going to pick them and use them for art, you know. So that's cool. You know, it's just you got to be careful sometimes because you don't know how much they're spraying around you with, you know, houses living right next to each other. When they spray one lawn, they spray 6 lawns. You know, don't kid yourself. That shit travels through the air like no other. That's why you can smell it when you're driving through a neighborhood. You can smell when a lawn gets sprayed. You know, if you can smell it, it's getting you. I learned that from this documentary that was on Netflix a while ago called I think it was called Fragrance Free or something, but it was about how the word fragrance that's on the back of all these bottles, you know, is like basically a chemical structure of a bunch of components that are poisonous to humans that make these smells. And it's all in like face products, suntan lotion, fucking baby wipes, basically everything. You know, they use this word fragrance. If you look, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I can get down the rabbit hole really easy if I'm not, you know, smoking good. I will go crazy, bro, thinking about shit like that. But it's real. It exists.
You are
And
gonna fit in just fine.
dude, it's so real.
Dude, before the wormhole, it was the rabbit hole. It was the rabbit hole. And them are actually some of my favorite episodes where we get started talking about growing and then it kind of dies down and then some of us, usually me, kind of fucking kicks the ball into the fucking rabbit hole and then fucking it just goes deeper and deeper. We just keep it kicking it. There's actually, in the early days, in the first, like, say, fucking first 2 months, you know, when the show was getting started and, you know, the guests weren't, you know, shorter. Some of the guest segments were shorter and the rabbit holes were just kicking off. There was literally times where, because you know, I'm not gonna lie, man, I've had some good psilocybin episodes, you know, back, and then that's them that, you know, take a little microdosing and then you know, kicking the ball into the rabbit hole have made for some really good rabbit holes. But there's been times where I woke up the next day and I've been like, holy fuck, what did I talk about last night?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit. And I'm like,
hey,
I instantly grab my phone and I'm looking at the comments section. I'm like, good so far? Good so far.
You have one topic, one thing that you remember from mushrooms that really like sticks with you to this day? Like one thought that's just far out, but that's just like, whoa. You know, it makes sense.
There's too many.
I know, right? I just thought of that. I'm like, damn, that's a silly question. It's just everything, you know. Oh man.
You know, I'm gonna duck that because quite honestly, I've talked about this as well. Some of my best experience I've ever had on the psilocybin. I like two ways I like to indulge there is like, well, three, I guess, because now I kind of like to do the show occasionally like that. And because I think it makes for amazing conversation. It just kind of opens the mind up, kind of blocks out everything. And I find it, you know, it finds me, I can tune in, like tap right in easier with the guests.
It's been a while, man.
Like. Two, I like to microdose when I'm listening to like audio, working in the garden, listening to an audio book or a book about Buddhism or something like that. I can it helps me make that connection a little bit.
When I'm cleaning.
And
when I gotta clean a bunch of shit. Oh
yeah.
Dude, it's like Adderall or cocaine for me, you know, microdosing. It's probably stronger than cocaine. I don't like cocaine. Not a fan of cocaine.
A lot of people say it does give a lot of energy, and it does to me. But my totally best experience with psilocybin, and I never thought it was possible. And at first I was scared initially. I fell out like peak fucking like trip. You know what I mean? And a good trip.
Yeah,
I was feeling pretty good, but I was tired, man. I was exhausted. It was a long day, and I even thought, how am I falling asleep right now? Man, one of the best experiences, man. I laid down and slept, and my mind just kind of up. You know, I fell asleep. My mind unlocked, and it was one of the best enlightening experiences I've ever had. And
that's
to
sweet.
this day, I encourage it, man. If I'm feeling tired midway, I'm like, hell, I'm almost like, yeah. When the wake up's a little
Yeah,
foggy, but man, that experience, man, I've
yeah,
seen like auras, like waking up. I actually was in such of like a lucid state, and I could like see auras, and it was like, wow, it was. But you know what I mean? It was on point. You know what I mean? It wasn't
yeah.
weird. It was on point. And but yeah, for real.
I feel like I
I
crossed a
know it
line.
sounds weird.
No, it doesn't sound weird. I feel like I crossed the line. I feel like there's this threshold with mushrooms, and like, because I've microdosed and everything too. It's too strong for me. It really is. Like, I don't really take mushrooms anymore. I love to grow them. I love them, and I just I haven't really grown them to eat or fruit. Really, I've used them for CO2 supplementation. So I haven't really used them for eating because they're so strong. But like, I feel like there was this one time I ate way too much. So anytime I take them. Um, it's just I don't really need it. It's like overload of anxiety for me because I feel like I can feel the from that, like the trip you just talked about, not trip, but that from what you just talked about, I could feel that. And when you say that, I can visualize that in my head and feel that aura and know what you're talking about. So like it really left an imprint on me. Mushrooms have, and that's why I believe in them, and I don't even really take them anymore, dude. Like, to be honest, like, but I love them because
That's
what they've
that's
done
the
with my
beauty of
mind,
them, though.
you know, I think they
You're
really
right.
opened something.
They do. That's what they're finding out. That's what the studies are, man. They're helping so many people with anxiety, PTSD, 1 to 5 doses, even now, coach, doses. People never taking them again, going, man, I've never felt better with my life after, take the initial dose. I don't feel like I have to take them. It's a whole new world with psilocybin. They're actually helping a
Yeah,
lot of people, and I think in your instance and in mine, I think it opened up like an empathy. You know, I just had this, and I never had that. That one experience, that one super hero dose, I guess it was almost you could call it, was very weird, man.
yeah,
Like I told you, it had that experience with what I told you about, and then it was weird because I talk about this quite a bit too. Is, man, after that experience, I started kind of seeing like angel numbers, 111, 222, so prevalent. I had to start paying attention to that shit. But after that experience, I noticed myself being more empathetic to people around me, everything, animals, you know, and which led me to more of a spiritual path, man, leading down, towards Buddhism, Hindu studies, that type of Tao, the study of Tao and shit like that, and it all stems from that one mushroom experience, and I've never went back to where I've taken a hero dose like that, nor do I care to at this point. But like a little micro dosing here and there to, upbeat the mood and kind of refocus a little bit, I'm definitely game with, for sure.
yeah, yeah. Every time I need a little bit of an adjustment. That's how I look at it. Like, it just need that little touchback, you know, that it gave me, because it does do something to me for a long time for some reason. And so does Adderall. If I take an Adderall, I'll be up for 3 days. If I take half an Adderall, I'll be up for 3 days, dude. It just does something to me, you know. So I don't fuck with that shit. And if I do, you give me something to, you give me a task, it gets done better than anything you've ever seen before, you know, like straight up. That's just, it's, you know, just what they say about it. It's modern day meth. And fucking, that's why I don't really do microdosing too much, because my life is kind of simple right now, you know. So I don't really need that boost too much, you know. But it's great, man. I love to see that people are coming around in like the governing aspect of things. And you know, those are the same people that are tripping balls and having a good time too. I've been around them. You know, it's a shame that people gotta hide in the closet or feel like they gotta be in the closet about shit and act like a total different person than they are, you know, because politics, that's all it is. It's a bunch of people faking who they are. So there's some real ones, and those guys are, you know, easy to see through, and they're awesome, you know. But whatever, we'll see some shit change here, because at some point in time, I mean, the millions of people that are sitting here saying like, hey man, we're gonna do it, are gonna do it, what are they gonna do? Jail them? What are they gonna do? They're gonna jail us? Ain't nobody got time for that. We're just trying to have a good time from all this suppression. You know what I mean? Goes off. Nobody wants that shit. Nobody really does. When nobody has the money or the time for it to really put everybody that does drugs or whatever in jail about it, it's like, you know.
I agree. Well, for the most part, but you know, as far as you know, taking at least my ingestion of microdosing, I use it occasionally as, I don't use it as a facade, I don't say, and I don't necessarily use it as a recreational tool, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I'm not looking at it, oh yeah, I just want to be in a good mood today. I
Oh
usually, when
yeah,
I
yeah,
mess
no,
around with it, it's like, okay, I'm in the spot and I want to fucking do a little soul searching. I
yeah,
need to figure
exactly.
out what the fuck.
Do you play any instruments, man?
I wish.
Oh,
One
dude.
time I tried to fucking play the guitar when in school. I tried to fuck around with the fucking saxophone for a brief bit, but
Oh,
then
dude, I want to. That's
I
sweet.
just, my daughter, my daughter, thank goodness, got that gene. Oh, my youngest, self-taught. That girl, much respect to her, man. She said she wanted to play. I bought her a guitar. And that girl taught herself how to play the guitar, fucking taught
Heck yeah,
herself how to play
dude.
the ukulele,
Yeah,
taught
hell yeah,
herself how to read and write music, and is, you know, taught herself how to play the keyboard as well.
dude.
Which
Yeah,
all talents I don't
yeah.
have none of, but I sure nurture the shit out of her.
Good shit, dude. That's good. She's good. That's good. She's into that. It's hard to find anybody who's into that, man. You know, like I'm into self-taught stuff, so I listen to a lot of like, honestly, bro, a lot of stuff that's not really out there, that not a lot of people listen to, because it's a lot of like stuff that people would make in their fucking basement. You know what I mean? Like after learning an instrument for hours. So like it's hard to find people that are self-taught musicians. I'm a self-taught musician. I play I play all that stuff too, and drums and stuff, and like, you know, and I skateboard, and I used to wrestle. I heard you talking about wrestling. I wrestled before. You know, that was my favorite sport out of all the sports, because it wasn't really a team sport. It was a challenge against myself. You know what I mean? And it was that internal struggle that really was the lion in the match. You know, that was a good experience. Wrestling is a very, I think any young male should fucking try it. Really, I think it's sport, really. I mean, especially if you're like having a struggle and you're like into punk shit, or you're a punk rocker, get into fucking wrestling, dude. Try it, because drugs aren't the way. They're not.
It's the only sport where it's an overall team sport, but it's a one-on-one. You're winning for yourself and you're winning for the team, but the struggle is all yours on the mat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a heavy fucking, yeah, it's a sweet sport, dude. That's a good sport, but that's cool, man. I was gonna say, like, guitar and instruments for me are a very big therapeutic thing that go with cannabis big time. I mean, and drinking. If I wake up after having a good drunk, I write some of the best music of my life, dude. After I won't write it while I'm drinking, but I'll wake up with that fucking hangover buzz. Not so much of a hangover, but a buzz. And I'll smoke a joint, dude, and I'll just be in this fucking badass zone. And I'll just get into it for like an hour and a half. I'll put my girlfriend to sleep. Anybody that's in the room with me, I'll put them to sleep, And it puts me, it eases me and sets my mood for the day. Like in the morning, I smoke 2 joints. I try to do the Bob Marley thing,
Yeah, I smoke a minimum of 2. That's funny. I do. I agree with music, man. I love music. It plays a big part in my life as relating memories with music. Like I said, I've never really put that much effort into trying to play an instrument, but I would love to. This is where I always wish I could sing, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, and I can't sing. I'm not gonna kid myself in any way, shape, or form. I can
Man, if you're a punk rocker, dude.
But this is what pisses me off. Is because I'm in cannabis. This is one thing that I love. Okay, I love this shit. I have to write all my shit down. Strains, what the fucking genetic makeup is.
Yeah.
Write that shit down. Write it down. I have all the respect for all these cats that can fucking, oh yeah, what's that? Da 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 da. Get his fucking makeup, the background, all that. My head is fucked up with so many other useless facts, and fucking unfortunately, song lyrics is one. I can hear a song one time and then fucking 10 years down the road be able to fucking almost be able to sing that fucker for you word for word. And a lot of times I'm like, why is there wasted brain space on that shit?
Right. Hey, that's not random. That's fucking, yeah. That song is meant to be, brother. That's a good song. That's a good song. That's what it meant. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, but what in my instance is it's usually like some like off the wall. It might even be like a fucking commercial or something, jingle from something.
Me too.
It's like,
me too.
Why did it even stick?
My girlfriend will be like, why the fuck, all the time she'll be saying shit like, oh dude, yeah, it's so funny. I've been with my girlfriend.
I just look over.
So that's why I always talk about her. Sorry.
Just look over and do this. Go, I don't know. That's what I do when I get that look. Like, how do you? I'm like, I just look back and I go, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why it's there. I don't know why I just blurted it out. I don't know. It's just there. But I wish I had that memory for fucking strains and shit. You know what I mean? I'm so good at numbers. Okay. I'm to the, phone numbers, shit like that. You can tell me a phone number almost once, a measurement. I tell you fucking that measurement 2 days fucking later.
Yeah,
fucking
me too.
Strain. I gotta go grab my book.
Dude, same here, because I need to start writing shit down too, because I got that sativa, and that thing is a cross. It's like, I think it's like, see, this is where you're gonna get aggravated at me and everybody else is, but I want to say it's like Malawi crossed crossed with either some Colombian something or some Mikawakan, you know. But I want to say it's like Malawi crossed with Mikawakan. See, and that sucks because I really want to know because I love sativas, you know, and I think they're the closest thing to like, you know, where it came from. So it kind of bugs me that I fucking can't figure it out, and I'm afraid to ask because I don't want to step on toes and be like, hey man, you know, yada yada. I got this from somebody, but I don't think they'd really care. I think I'm too hard on myself, but whatever, you know. I'll just leave it the way it
Always
is.
ask questions. Always ask questions. Never be afraid to ask questions. The dumbest question is the question unasked. Yeah, that's what you are.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So how long does this go? I stay up, dude, till like 5:30, 6, and then you know, I've noticed you've had some long talks, but I don't know how long you want to keep me as a guest. You know, how the chat goes.
That's kind of like I gave you the heads up in the beginning. That's completely up to you as long as you feel the conversation was gone. I mean, if
What's up with chat?
Cool, we could always end this, and we could always open it up to the wormhole if you wanted to, you know, let other people pop on and talk. If you want to widen the conversation, or if you want to just keep going, man, this is completely up to you.
Let's see what the chat says, because I'm all about keeping your stream going and stuff, and you know.
I'm enjoying the conversation so far, so it doesn't matter to me. It's, you know, like I tell everybody, this is your episode. We're getting to know you. You pretty much in control of this. What you want to talk about, what you don't want to talk about. When you're done, you fucking say I'm done, and we'll wrap it up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, sun-grown.
That's the way I see it.
Sun-grown. I love sun-grown anything, honestly. Okay.
Do you grow outdoors at all?
Yeah. This year I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do outdoors yet, but yeah, I do. I just throw one outdoors.
I'd like to grow outdoors myself. Seems like the perfect match with your growing style, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. Honestly, last year I didn't have to hand water once.
No?
I should not. I used a lot of mushroom compost, and I think the vermiculite helped keep the moisture level in the soil. I didn't water once at all, and with all the heavy rains in Michigan and shit and colds, dude, the flow did amazing. I mean, there was no powdery mildew at all, and no bugs. And there was powdery mildew on the weeds around it, or I forgot what kind of vine it is that's around it, but I had to always take them down and shit. They're trying to take down my plant, man. I had to kill them, but they just went in the compost. And I grew poppy flowers next to it, and I chopped those down, and I let them compost. And I think that helped because like the stalks are good and high in phosphorus and stuff like that. So I think when those composted down with the whole setup that I had, because it's in the ground, it's not in a pot, it's in the ground, like, you know, connected to the earth. And there's a lot of good mushroom compost and worms and stuff like that. And I had some amendments laid down, some good compost and earthworm castings. But that fucking, the poppy stalks and the poppy pods were, I think, really gave it the go, because I made some poppy tea. Now, don't look at me like that. I made some poppy tea, and I made them for my plants, okay? For a foliar spray, an early flower, and they loved it. And so I think maybe that was that's why the buds were so perfect too. I mean, they're big, everything. I don't know. I'm not a fucking science. I stopped being a weed nerd, dude, when I realized I don't have enough funds for resources. So I had to kind of stick to doing what I can with what's around me and shit. So I just stopped being a weed nerd, you know, but pretty sure those poppy stalks gave it the that boost in late flower. It was really, really good. I mean, didn't water it the whole time, not once.
So is it, with, your type of growing style, do you find that you have to like necessarily grow your inputs to make your brews, your ferments, or uh,
That's the most
is it
success.
stuff that you can gather around? Like we talked about,
Oh,
the environment is. What are some good things that you can gather from like a city and type environment that you could use in your garden? Where you know what
clover,
I mean?
clovers, bam, easy. Clover fields, dandelions, dandelions. Early veg loves dandelion. Dandelion's a great one. Plus, you can use the roots. You could probably make some really killer shit with the roots too, and the whole plant of the dandelion, really. But that wouldn't be tech. That I would mix that with water too and brown sugar. I wouldn't do straight brown sugar because it would just take forever to break down those roots and really get what you want out of it. So I'd use the water, like do a Jadam style, like but whatever. I'm not gonna say style. I'm just gonna say I gotta look at this. I got this book. It's in the fucking living room. Anyway, it's called Noma, the Guide to Ferments, and it's like this big, but it has like ferments on everything, and it gives you some good information in there. And I have some stuff that I've been reading in that, and for some reason, knowledge don't stick to me. So, you know, but I have some things that I want to do. I think this C90 with the cabbage and the C90 with shit is going to be bomb. I think it's going to be killer, dude. I think it's going to be a really easy way to really I use this stuff, but I think it's going to make it last even longer. So it's really cheap to do something like that and come up with something that's killer. That's what I like about it. So anyway, things you can find. Yeah, fucking nettle, weeds. You can use weeds. I mean, basically, dude. Like, I knew this farmer who's in like Flat Rock or some shit, and he uses everybody's grass clippings from around him for his whole garden, and it's huge. It's a fucking farm, actually, and he just uses grass clippings. So, you know, there,
Southern VT Grower was one asking the name of that book.
Noma, Noma, the Guide to Fermentation. The Noma Guide to Fermentation. So Noma's this kitchen, but it has a lot of good information in it that I if you correlate what you know from growing and studying growing shit, you'll pick that out of the book and be like, oh, that's really good shit. Like certain ferments, like acetic acid ferments, acetic acid bacteria instead of lactic acid LAB. Everybody's talking about LAB, but what about AAB? Acetic acid bacteria. And that's something that I want to look into. A lot of people probably know about, but it's in that book, but I just haven't found it in the growing aspect of things yet. But, yeah, Jadam's sweet. The Jadam, honestly, I made the fish fertilizer Jadam style Eagle, and it was fucking crazy. Strongest shit I've ever smelt and used in the garden by far. I did a foliar with it, and my plants were like, they were like fucking, like they got hit by a tornado, dude. And they were green as shit. The stems, of the leaves like widened like fucking crazy thick white, you know, and then after 3 weeks they went back to normal, huge, bushy, nice plants. Like, so I didn't use that much because I was scared, and I gifted a lot of it away, and I'm kind of sad because I think it went to waste. I could have saved it and used it because I really like that stuff. You know, I would even mix it with this shit just to see what happens. You know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome being able to mix your own ferments and experiment like that.
I
You know, that's again, that's one of the things that again I've talked about cannabis and its plateaus. You know, for me and a lot of others, man, there's so many, you know, plateaus that where cannabis can take you, and I'm glad I haven't almost dove as deep as a lot of people have in organics because I'm,
well,
you know, I'm it's a what, and that's another thing. I'm starting to open that door, and fuck, as I say that, I almost wish I would have opened the door a little bit earlier because talk about rabbit holes, man. The organics roll is fucking rabbit hole after rabbit
well,
hole.
dude, you
It's like
got
the compost
Chinese,
rabbit hole,
yeah,
fucking, you know,
you got Chinese food, you
omakase
got Mexican
rabbit
food,
hole.
you got raw
Yeah.
organic food, you got sushi. You know, it's like you got all these different styles. You know, and there's so many different inputs. And hey, man, I think some of the coolest shit I've heard was from when KNF Garden was talking. He said he uses city water. I was like, this guy is a goddamn guru. Be careful, because
Yeah.
people don't like that. You know, that's fucking awesome though that he said that. I was like, cool. Thank God somebody said it. Like, and does that and uses city water and doesn't worry about the that stuff, and like, you know, isn't too crazy about the foliar sprays and stuff. That was, I was so happy to hear all that, because that's like basically how I try to garden. Is kind of like a lazy thing, but it's like I've spent time in it and I put love into it, you know. But it's based off of my surroundings, you know. I don't have to go too
I
far into it.
remember right. He's down by you, the KNF
What?
Gardens. Yeah, he's in
He's in
Michigan.
Michigan?
He's down. Yeah, he's down there. Like that episode, he we just I just had an episode not too long ago with him
He's in
where he
Michigan?
talks about where he sources all of his stuff for is that fertilizer. It's almost 90% waste. He goes around, gets, you know, shit from restaurants, coffee
Dude.
grounds, and blah blah blah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's down by you, man.
Get the
He's
fuck
down by
out of
you.
here, bro. I gotta fucking hook
No,
up.
man.
See, now that I know he's by me, see, I thought, wow, that's cool, dude. I need to hook him up.
Yeah, he's
Make a
down by
whole,
you, and he
everybody
seemed
wants the
very
wormhole.
open to fucking hook up, man.
Well, I'm glad to have been here on your fucking show, Eagle. It seems like everybody wants the fucking wormhole. It doesn't, I'm not saying it like
Oh,
that. I'm just saying wormhole it is. It's good to be on your
I
show,
think
dude.
no, I don't think that's it at all. I think they're wanting you to jump into the wormhole, if anything.
I'll jump into the
But
wormhole. I'll say what's up.
I don't I don't think that was it. There was way more we're enjoying this conversations keeping him going than there was wormholes if you look back.
Okay. All right. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it at different times. KNF, dude. Yeah. That guy's a
Yeah.
G, bro. That's awesome. You know what though? We got some clean water here in Michigan where I'm at. It's pretty clean. You know, it might be too clean for some people's liking, but you just let it sit out for a while and you know, give it some oxygen, I guess. If it's too fucked up, you gotta use a little bit of what's that? What's that the dechlorinator from Microbe Life? You ever use that? It's a liquid ionized water. It's so it has like this. I think it's like a, yeah, not inflamed. Hey, dude, I've been out there, man. I dated a girl that's from Flint before, and I used to go out there. And some of the shit that I've fucking been through out there, I'll tell you what, Flint's a motherfucker, dude. I got love for Flint though, but you know, I, their water sucks. Yeah, I feel so bad, man. Like the health
So
issue.
Chad did correct me.
Okay.
KNF is in California. The
Okay.
guy I am thinking of is Intergalactic Gardens, who is here in
Intergalactic
Michigan.
Gardens. Okay, I gotta check him out. I'm gonna write that down. Hold on.
He's a couple episodes back, and he's a KNF type gardener, and he makes his own nutrients too. From like he goes around and collects waste and fucking turns them into a clean
That's cool.
nutrient.
That's cool.
It was, yeah, definitely. I'm my bad on that, but definitely along the same lines. I mean, as the KNF gardeners, he's a KNF farmer as well. Very knowledgeable. I suggest, go back and check out that episode. In fact, I'll drop you a link to that episode if you'd like.
Smiley just cracked me over the head with this 5-12-14.
Smiley's a smart dude.
5-12-14. Dude, he looks so familiar, bro. He looks familiar as fuck.
Smiley?
Like, yeah. Like
he's Michigander, west side of the state.
Yeah, he looks super familiar. So that hydroxy, I want to hear him talk about that a little bit, dude. That 5-12-14. What?
He's a smart dude, huh? Again, we could always warn. He's planning to pop in the wormhole tonight, so you could, if you wanted to, we could head down that road. And we could talk. I'm definitely not an organics guy. I'm headed back down that path, but I'm still that salts guy. A little bit of this, little bit of that, witch's brew.
Well, here's my 2 cents. Let me put it in the slot since I'm here. Okay. Take some of your inputs. Pick one. Pick something you either drench with or pick something that you do a foliar spray with. Just take one simple thing, okay, and make an input in return of that, and try it out along with your stuff and see how versatile it is. And you will be surprised at how loving the plant is and how much it loves the input, making natural inputs in any way. I'm telling you, obviously do a little research on the ferment or whatever you're making, but I'm telling you, just take one thing out of either your root drench plan or your foliar spray plan, and one little thing, one input, and swap it out with something, just one thing. And I'm telling you, you'll see a pretty good result. And you might want to do both. I've seen people do combo, of KNF and some salt stuff with the, like some CalMag shit that they're not making or whatever, and like stuff like that, whatever it is, and they've had great results too. But shit, I think that's a good start, is like swapping one little thing out instead of going through the whole regime, because you could fuck up a whole fucking row swapping everything out at once, man. And that's what I like about the natural inputs, is you can really take it easy, Yeah, the Joe Y, the chloramine, I think the dechlorinator from the Microbe Life, I think, does take away the chloramine too. Whew. Gotta do a couple of these real quick, I'm gonna hold myself up, give my back a little break. Your back's gotta be killer.
Oh man, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about cars.
We can. Oh man, that shit's got to be terrible, man. It's got to be terrible. That's actually what I have my cannabis card is for. Is a back initially was a back injury.
Yeah,
Wasn't
same
from a
here.
car accident though. It was from I was fucking working for myself. This is one of the bitches working for yourself. It was fucking I was working for
Yeah,
myself. I was siding the house and I had a cat inside the house and I was on top of a 10-foot A-frame ladder and I fucking put the window in, and it was kind of like the cat was in there centering it. And he's like, just a little bit more, and I give it just a little bit shove, you know what I mean? And the fucking ladder fucking fell over, and I actually went backwards, you know, around the ladder, kind of fell back, and yeah, that shit fucked my back all up, man. I was
man,
down for
dude.
about 2 weeks after that shit. Ugh. Fucking
Almost,
just no insurance, just riding that shit out, man. Just like it'll get better.
dude.
I'll get through.
You're like, I don't mean it like this, but you're like an older version of me, dude. I fell off of a second story scaffolding. Fell off doing some masonry. And the boss, I was like 17 at the time, dude. And the boss brought me a fucking 6-pack after work, and he he just was like, he was nice, brought me a 6-pack, left, told Danny, the machine operator, to fire me for him because I was too nice. Fired me because I fell off of a fucking scaffold. I was useless after that, dude. My back's been fucked ever since, really. You know, I got an X-ray, and they were like, "Yeah, you got degenerative spine and disc syndrome." I'm like, "Oh fuck," you know. So whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, let's do that. Huh?
You want to jump in the wormhole to
Yeah.
end this and get the wormhole going?
Yeah. Do I just hop
All right,
on?
man. Yeah. Well, let me. Well, let's officially end this, my friend. We got to officially end this one. We can't be
Do it.
like,
Yeah.
fuck this, we're out.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You gotta let me. You gotta let me go through my spiel and the
Well,
end and all
you
that
know.
good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Shit. Man, this guy's gonna
Just had to
fucking
start.
mic drop me
No, I
and
just had to
shit.
start the process. I didn't mean to put it to a halt. I didn't mean to halt it.
I'm just fucking messing with you, brother. So this is the deal, man. This is how things work around here, brother. Now that you have, we're so nice enough to come on, talk to us, give us your story, and thank you very much for, giving me, sitting here, being so nice, so candid. You know what I mean about, truthful about your story. I appreciate that so much, man. I really do. Because it does. It helps people relate more to you and people in, fucked up situations. It helps, relate flat out, man. They did it. Can do it. I can relate to that situation. There's a lot of pluses to these stories. Thank you, firsthand.
Thanks for having me, man.
You know, so with that being said, this Zoom number is always the same. So keep it for whenever you want. You don't have to get an invite. It's as you feel. You jump in and out whenever you feel like it. So yes, this Zoom invitation will be the same one for the wormhole. After we check out, you
Okay.
go fucking stretch, take a piss, do whatever you want to do. You jump in anytime you feel like it. Hey guys, I'm back. I got a fucking tray full of weed. Let's fucking talk about whatever. You don't have to even have the tray full of weed, by the way. You don't have to have the tray full of weed. You can just come hang out and talk. But so that's basically how the wormhole goes. You know what I mean? Please keep that invitation. You're welcome at any time there's a wormhole. You see hop in anytime. Secondly, before we end this out, I need to get your soundbite. Have you seen enough episodes to kind of get the gist of the soundbite and know
Not
what?
the soundbite. Oh wait, okay. Yeah, hold on. I think I do. Tell me when.
I am ready for it right now.
This is episode 358 on Talking Shit with the Eagle. fucking talking shit with the Eagle. I've had a great time. I'm the guest, Gus_Grows. You can find me on IG at Gus_Grows. And thanks. I've had a great time kicking it with the Eagle and fucking talking shit.
Fucking awesome, man. Thank you, man. That was fucking perfect, right off the cuff, purely natural, just the way it should be. Hell yeah.
Thanks, brother.
So now we can officially wrap this up, and I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna fucking use the restroom for a minute, stretch out. Right about fucking 15 minutes, I'll be back. No rush. Whenever
Sweet.
you're ready. If you're wanting to jump in, you don't even have to jump in if you don't want to. But I'm hoping you do. And
Sweet.
obviously, you've got some questions for Smiley. So, yeah, please do, man. We'll end this out, say goodbye, and I'll fire up the wormhole in a few minutes. And thanks for coming, my friend. Hope to see you in a few.
For sure. Peace out, guys. Later, Eagle.
For the rest of you guys watching, thank you very much, man, for hanging out with us, listening to this great guy's story. It's been a fucking awesome time, awesome story. Hopefully, most of you guys will follow along into the wormhole. Same. Hopefully, you guys do the same. Stretch out, use the restroom, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you guys for watching. You guys know the routine. Please do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives.